What's up, everybody? We made it from A to B, from Hotel Indigo to the Man Cave and to my office, alongside Gene Williams, the founder and administrator of Warchant.com. My name is Tom Lang. Hello again on Warchant TV. You are now tuned in to the pilot episode of the Warchant Watch Along. We'll see if the focus groups like it, Gene, enough for it to be picked up for a full season. But here we are. Kickoff of the spring game is in just mere moments. How are you so far?
I'm doing well, man. Really enjoyed our time out at Hotel Indigo. I want to thank to Jay and all his staff out there. Did a great job. And I'll tell you, if you want to, what a great place to hang out before a game of that deck overlooking the intramural fields in Doe Campbell Stadium. Really good time. Very hospitable. We enjoyed it out there. It's great to see a lot of the pillars, a lot of the Warchant people come out there. So, and Tom, before we get started, I already got to thank you, man. With Jeff being under the weather, pulling double duty yesterday, having to do the trifecta today. Now we may have Aslan maybe come in for a little bit to spell you or I or both of us for a while during this, because we also, after this, guys, stay tuned. Never take it off Warchant TV, because we're going straight to post-game show and your calls and comments on social media. We'll take some comments. Tom, why don't you lay the groundwork, because this is the first time we're doing this. So kind of explain to people how this is all going to work.
Well, and it's a grand experiment. We're going to do some things that we don't like in the fall. We'll say change this up, but the basics are this. We're going to let you know when key plays are beginning. We can't go play by play. We can't give you the full summary of what's happening as it's happening. So if you're looking for us to be like a substitute for a radio broadcast, first of all, why? It's Gene Deckerhoff's final call. Yeah. Secondly, not everybody's on the same time. Some people have DirecTV or Comcast or your different parts of the country. Some people have cut the cord, like me. I'm on YouTube TV, so is Gene right now. So we want to make sure that everybody's synced up, especially if you want to go back and watch this after the game's over and you rewatch, then you can see our live reactions to some zany things that happen. So what we're going to do is let you know when a kickoff happens or here comes a snap every so often to make sure you're on time with us. And we won't be really looking at the comments too much when the football is in play for the same reasons. If you're ahead of us by 10 seconds, we don't want to be spoiled. We don't want to be spoiled before we get to see the play. If something really cool happens, I'd rather see it live and react to it naturally than, have somebody in the chat not ruin it for us, but just again.
We thank you, Eric. I appreciate the play-by-play, but I think it's easier if we just go like timeouts, commercials.
Yep.
If there's a replay review, I don't know if they'll do that now or extended penalty or whatever. We'll come in and give our comments on depth charts, injuries, plays, that kind of stuff. But yeah, this is just hey, it's like we're all hanging out in a bar, we're watching a game together. Yes. We're going to comment on, have fun. It is tough. And one thing I know, Tom, I are a little bit up against it here because there's not other games going on. Mm-hmm. So we could have filled up some time. Oh, look, Clemson's losing NC State, or what do you think about that? Or those kind of things. We don't have any of that going on. And sure, we can complain about the officials, but it's not going to be the same weight in the spring game, obviously, as it would during the regular season.
We could talk about the Masters too, but Scotty Scheffler's running away with that.
Yeah, what about that?
Oh, wow. My goodness. That is more than a heater. I guess that's just who the hell he is now if he's won 3 times.
How about that pressure, though, the fun being up that much, when you're at the Masters? I mean, the yips could come in any moment.
Don't pull a Rory from whatever that was 10 years ago, because I think he fired like a 79 or an 80 that day. He had a lonely look in his face. But there'll be time. There'll be lulls in the action. And sometimes, folks, there might be 10 or 15 seconds where maybe you don't hear anything. Embrace the silence, because we're watching things, and it's not going to be full sound all the time, but we're going to analyze what we see. We're not going to ignore the game. We just can't give it to you as a play-by-play. Like, here's Jordan Travis rolling out right. Nothing like that. But we will analyze what we see, and we've had enough people on warchant.com on the boards or people through social media letting us know, sometimes the TV crews just don't cut it, and they prefer something else. So we're going to
a little bit more FSU centric. I mean, they've got to cover a lot of different games. They're not covering FSU every day like we do at Warchant. They got to talk about the other team a lot of time. They got to talk about ESPN programming and ACC, whatever it is. We're not bound by that. We're FSU every day, 24/7. We're going to just talk about the details. This is for the avid Florida State fans that wants nothing but FSU stuff. So who knows? It might be a bust, Tom. But a lot of people have thought they want us to try this. So yeah, we're down for it, man. We hear you, fans. You don't like ACC Network. You don't like RG3. I don't know why. So we're going to give you a little bit of an alternative. Again, not a play-by-play. And like he said, man, Gene Deckerhoff, that's the one thing I almost wish I could have Gene in one ear right now just to hear this final broadcast.
It's kind of a shame that his final broadcast is a spring game and not, a full football game. But the last regular season home game he ever called in Doak, Gene, was 4th of 14 against Miami.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good way to go out.
It is a really good way to go out. So I saw a couple of things. They're in commercial right now, but I saw a couple of things that stood out immediately. Number one, it looks like what we saw in practice is what we're going to see on the field, in that the offense will wear the white today and the defense will wear the garnet. I also spotted number 18 with a leg brace, but Travis J was out there. He has missed some time in camp with an injury that was suffered. I don't know exactly when, but we discussed that. Ira and I did on the Sunday Smash. He was spotted on campus on crutches. So that was a couple of weeks ago, but he's in full pads, and it looks like he's got some sort of leg brace on. So maybe Travis J gives it a go today. We'll keep you updated on other players that we see or don't see. That's the fun part about this, Gene, is it's just kind of an open conversation. We go where we want to go.
Yeah, the first time we can talk about depth charts, we can talk about injuries. I mean, it's not everything because everybody sees it, so there's no secrets now. So we're a little bit. We love that Mike Norvell gives us so much access, but that's one of the limitations. We don't have that limitation here, Tom. So we can get our first real commentary. We'll see. There's been rumors about Tatum Bethune having a boot on his foot, so we'll see if he suits up today. We'll find that out soon enough. First rep, I imagine he's got to be with the first team defense, so he's not out there. But again, I will say, and we get a lot of questions on our boards. We'll get it here about injuries. I'll say the one thing. I don't get bent out of shape at minor injuries in the spring. You are sure you like guys to get rep big deals as long as you're ready to go by August practices. That's really what matters. Other than Winston Wright had the car accident, I think everybody else. I've not heard anything about anybody that is threatened to miss the season this year. I think all the injuries are relatively minor. They should be back in days, if not weeks, but it should not. Everybody should be good to go by August. So cross your fingers. You got another couple hours to go that the team stays healthy.
There was a scare that, Darius Washington would be one of those longer-term injuries, and Mike Norvell put that to bed on Tuesday as Aslan asked him the question, because there were reports that it could be, bad.
You hate when a guy gets rolled up on offensive lineman, you think the worst.
Exactly. It was the second scrimmage, and as it's looking at Doak right now, the broadcast, it is a gorgeous day out there. It was just a little too windy for us to be outside at Hotel Indigo, but what a glorious day temperature-wise. This is about one of the coolest spring games, and I mean literally coolest in terms of temperature that I can remember in a long, long time. Gene, it feels like one of those games against Florida after Thanksgiving. Weather outside.
It's a classic fall game, and I will say the one I wanted to see. I like my guy Forrest Connolly's doing color for this game for ACC Network. So an FSU player there. Kind of wish I could hear him a little bit. I was hoping they'd have RG3 so I could just miss it, but Anyway, you still want to hear us. I'm not trying to pitch you to go over to ACC Network, but listen to us. It's fine. I don't know. What do you think about the black tops? They got the black tops
for the
offense.
Yeah.
The quarterbacks, the black tops. I guess that's their version. It's better than wearing green. Or something else. I guess that's what they're going to do with that. But I mean, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that. I guess I like that better than the all black. I don't know. What do you think? Since this is loosey goosey, what do you think?
Well, so I was there in Clayman Plaza when they rolled these out in 2014. I remember doing
Ignition tradition.
That's it. They had like honoring the state flag with the crossing of the spears behind the helmet and all that stuff. And those just kept on falling off, so they decided to abandon
the gold on gold, the gold on the white that you couldn't see.
Yeah, when ESPN complains, it's amazing how fast things change because the spotters couldn't see it and the play-by-play couldn't see it. That was a disaster. And the helmet, Gene, was like white gold too. It wasn't the traditional gold. It was just, if that was an alternative uniform, all right, you live with it once a season, but we still look like Boston College, Gene. That the way that even the Garnets look. It's better on the white jerseys with the garnet numbers. They've improved that. But if you're going to do the black uniforms, to answer your original question, I just don't like how the garnet helmet turns black in the back third of it. Like, just stay garnet on the entire helmet. I don't understand that. Just be a matte garnet helmet. But the other thing too, and Jeff knows this, he rolls his eyes every time I bring it up, is the garnet's not even right. We're more purple than we are.
Yeah, I mean, just go back and look at those 90s uniforms. That's the closest they ever got to the true garnet, I thought. I just wish they'd go back. Again, you never know. We'll keep holding out. Maybe someday they'll get it right.
But this is where you go. This is the filibuster. So they're finally starting to scramble and get things together. Come on, punctuality, Mike. I thought everything was about punctuality. We're at 10 after. They're going through EJ Manuel graphic right now because he's one of the guest coaches today. So that'll be cool. You'll see EJ, Danny Cannell. Well done, Florida State, on that, by the way. It was media members last year. Jeff had a chance to do it, and he had a hoot. But to get Danny Cannell and EJ Manuel, who are not only alum, but also on SiriusXM and ACC Network, very smart media members. And then Peter Boulware is also somebody who's going to be calling plays. I know that T-Buck is an honorary captain.
And congrats to him, man. I got my hopes up when he did little on Twitter. He did the fake signing like he's going to somewhere, and I thought, man, maybe they're going to bring him on a support staff at Florida State. But, he's going on to the new Pro Football League. So good luck to him there, but at least he's here for this. And there's EJ's being interviewed right now. So ACC Network doing a little in-house promotion there, getting their guy doing pregame. But yeah, happy for EJ. And yeah, I think he's done one of the few things. I think he's done a nice job for them.
That's the best move you can do too. Again, for Florida State, ACC Network doesn't always, and I don't know if anybody knows this, but they don't always cover football a lot. So make sure that you give them every incentive to stop covering lacrosse. Last year we were 10, 15 minutes late to the broadcast because
I'll tell you one thing. One of the best things Phillips did, the new commissioner, and that's one thing he said: every spring game is going to be on the ACC Network, because that wasn't the case before. Or they put it on the extra, which nobody can get half the time, whatever the case is. So I mean, that was a positive sign. I know there's a lot of criticism that goes on with that, but I think he did a really nice job. I think we're finally getting ready to
go.
Here
So
we got Travis is getting ready to go. First team's up there.
There's the snap of the first play. So there we are. The first play is going, and the camera work already is a disaster. We've got a zoomed in angle, and we've got
and Coop blows up the first. I don't know what was going on. I wish I could have seen an angle to see who blew that. I have no idea. They just showed a close up of Travis, and all of a sudden Coop was knocking him down. There's nothing else.
Fellas, there is a game on the field. There is a game on the field.
Busy interviewing EJ and not showing the.
There are sideline interviews conducted with action on the field all the time. Cut to the full 22.
Wow.
Cut to the 22. We're already got a 5-alarm fire, Gene. This is why I cracked open a beer. Here we go. It's going to be an experience.
I was going to hold out to the post game, Tom, but I may be with you. I may have to crack one here. Are they playing? We don't know. They're still interviewing EJ.
That's correct. I have no idea. It could be second and something. It could very well be.
Well, good for Cooper on the first one. I guess we can say Cooper blew up the first play, so we know that.
He's done a lot of that this camp. Oh, man. They've had to hold him out on purpose because they want to see what they have. They're just too dominant at times. And look at that. Already the bots are already here. That's good in the chat. So making sure that
I don't know. I think someone's given a link to – someone asked about a stream link for the game, so I think they're giving the link.
Oh, whoops. Well, maybe I should.
I don't think that was a bot. So I knew we'd have. Usually, it's a sex bot that comes on there.
Yeah, that's right. Well, now we got.
Look at this. Now, all of a sudden, they've got the ball. I don't know if this is a situation. They got. It's a 2-point conversion drill. Okay.
Here's the snap. Caden Lyles is your center. The snap is now.
Yeah. This is a 2-point conversion drill they're doing. So remember, this is a lot of situational stuff.
No.
Boy.
No. That's no good.
Is that Travis J? Who is that?
That's McCall.
Oh, Sam McCall.
That looks like a little angle route where they're trying to clear the middle of the field, and Toafili is going to be the benefactor of the angle route, and it's picked off.
Ooh, that was read like a cheap novel.
So, yes, it was. On a day in which Tate Rodemaker needs to have a good showing, that's not the start you want. Hopefully he shakes it off from there, but it's a very important day for 18.
That's not how you convert it. At least it's a 2-pointer, so it only gone 2 points the other way.
The second play
went a little better.
Yeah. Gene, you want to tell people what just happened there?
Yeah, a little swing route out to we got there. That was who was that? Mika.
Yeah, it was
Micah Pittman. Is it Mika or Micah? Micah Pittman, right? Micah Pittman. Yeah, nice little swing route out to him on the side. Quick little good blocking by the wide receivers out on the edge for him to plow through and get it. I like that play a lot more than the first one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
we're assuming that was the first one because there might have been a play or two in between when EJ was being interviewed. We're not sure.
They look like they've got a better idea about some of those bubbles too this camp. That's the good thing. Okay, so as they're switching, I'm going to go back and see who the hell was blocking on that play. But what a great moment for Sam McCall. Listen, if we're going to be negative on one thing, you got to be positive. That's his first play wearing Florida State's colors, and Sam McCall with an interception.
Wow.
So outstanding. Wyatt Rector had a key block on the scoring play. Looks like he had a hold of McClellan.
Travis. Oh no.
Uh-oh. What have we done?
Boy, another pick.
Really?
Pick. Travis, another pick. 2 picks on that was by Kevin Noles. Kevin Noles with a pick off Jordan Travis on the 2-pointer.
Man,
he just jumped her out. He just looked like they did looked like to Pokey Wilson. They were doing a little slant, and he jumped her out and got in front of him on the slant. That ball should have been thrown away.
Yeah, that's that's just
or you go your next read.
There was no extra pressure there, Gene. He had time to make the throw. And again, these are 2-point conversion drills, everybody. They're not trying to go up and down the field right now. This is very situational. It kind of looks like the goal line stuff we saw on Thursday, but 2 interceptions already for the FSU defense. Next stop is in play.
They're going to have Travis run it. That's kind of a little safer play.
So
they went away from trying to throw those little routes in the middle of the field. The 2 of them got picked. The one they threw out to the side by Mika Pittman was scored for a 2-pointer, but
Again,
Yeah.
it looks like
Oh.
Lundy didn't get out to the outside quick enough, but I mean, it's a foot race against Jordan Travis.
Did you look for that, the Mika Pinmo? Did you look to see the blocks on that? Did anybody get a key block?
Yeah, I couldn't. So Jordan snapped it by the time I was looking for the second number, but Wyatt Rector was one of the key
Okay.
blocks. He was the one that drove his guy back into the end zone that freed it up for Micah to score. So that was a decent play from 19. Who I know, Jeff, who's under the weather. Jeff, if you're watching, what's up, brother? Hope you're feeling better. But he's been impressed with Wyatt Rector in some ways. So I haven't watched a ton of the tight end room. There's not a lot to rave about, but good play by Wyatt. Now it looks like Duffy's in, Gene. So the snap of the ball for Duffy there is we're synced up.
Throw it away. Throw it away. Oh, no. I thought he was throwing away. Oh, that was picked again. Oh, my.
Oh, my God. Okay, so
another throw. I'm like, throw it. You're rolling out. There's pressure in your face. There's the end zone's crowded with bodies. Just throw it away, young man. Wow.
Folks, you're seeing specials and reasons to sign up for ABC Fine Wine and Spirits at the bottom of the screen.
Oh.
If that's how today's going to be, just make sure you get your order in now to ABC Fine Wine.
Yes, yeah, I may have to make a run to ABC. I'm going to get low after the way this goes. Who got that pick? I didn't catch that. It was so. Did you see who got
the? You know what? That's irresponsible. I didn't. Let's see.
They cut away so quick.
Gainer.
They got the. Oh, Amari Gainer got it. Okay.
Yep.
Wow,
I love that 15-second rewind.
The good thing is every quarterback had an interception. Now we're just waiting for Geno English to have an interception. Then we'll get the quartet.
There you go. You're looking for the four of a kind.
Yes.
The
we got the hat trick. Let's get the quartet.
So 3 interceptions so far. What's happened if you're just joining us on Warchant TV? First of all, hit the like button underneath this video. It helps us find more FSU fans who are trying to enjoy a spring game Saturday, damn it, and they're looking for a non-TV broadcast reaction show. That's what we do. We're spending the entire time reacting here. But it's 2-point conversion drills. 2-point conversion drills to start the day.
They weren't interception drills, Tom?
They might have. If they were executed very well. Tate Rodemaker's first pass was intercepted by Sam McCall, who was taking the field for the first time in his FSU career. Jordan Travis threw a pick. That was Kevin Noles, who jumped an inside slant route that Pokey Wilson was running. And then A.J. Duffy rolling left, extending the play for as long as possible. Ill-advised throw. I don't know. Maybe Coach Norvell is telling him it's a fourth down type situation.
Well, Travis has a good point here, and he brought that up. It is truly a 2-point conversion. They're saying this is the scenario you're doing. This isn't the goal line. This isn't 3rd and 2. This is that. So, I mean, I guess it makes sense like on that, especially now the other ones were some of them were really bad. I'd say especially the one on the slant. Travis, like you said, he didn't have a lot of pressure.
Yep.
The route, I mean, Noles was all over it. He should have opted somewhere else to throw the football. But I think Travis makes a good point. If there's truly, we'll find out later, that was a 2-point, then you got to throw it. Throwing it away doesn't do you any good.
There you go. Kim's off him. She's off him. She's done. Kim is done. She's off to her nearest ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. It's going to be another long season. There was also a play as my man's wearing some tack glasses, it looks like there. Good for you, sir.
All right.
Hey, he's doing the chop as the graphics underneath. We also missed one play because we saw, and as they're doing a special teams thing right now, boy, they're going drills. They're really starting with drills and special team. Gene, you got the liquor? What are we doing here? This is not the starting out with a bang that I was hoping for.
I guess I got to pull up the plays on Stat Broadcast. So what is the play that we missed, Tom?
That was a play that Robert Cooper broke up immediately in the backfield. We saw a zoomed-in angle of the snap. The ball was in play. I guess it was a 2-point conversion drill, but 91 was in the picture almost immediately, and it looked like Jordan just threw the ball away.
Okay.
So it might have been an incompletion, but I don't have that on Stat Broadcast. Let me pull it up and see if – oh, they're not even keeping the stats yet?
Yeah, I don't see any stats on there. So.
Well, if it's situational, I guess you won't. But we're having to kind of think on the fly as to what's going on because we were told it was going to be very similar to last year. I don't remember them starting out with
they weren't doing special teams drills 5 minutes into spring game.
Yeah, so this is useless currently. I'm going to pull that down.
Yeah, so we got. Well, I guess we can look at who's returning kicks right now for them. I mean, because that's always interesting there. So we just had who was that? Is that the walk on? Was that 39?
Yeah, this is
Jaden Floyd, a walk on. So.
Yeah, let's see. Here's gunner drills. They got blocking drills. I mean, we watch these in practice. We see these things. Good blocking there. I mean, there's 24 and White has the ball. Yeah.
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, me.
Another walk on, I guess. So
this is shaky. Just embrace it, everybody. Embrace the awkwardness. I think they're going to play good on good at some point here as Pokey Wilson returns it. Yeah. Winston Wright is going to be a force for Florida State if he's healthy, if he gets healthy in the offseason as a kick returner. In addition to his work in the slot, he's very adept at that.
I will say the little I've heard, I think it's very unlikely. What I was told is the Thomas Schrader, very similar type of leg injury
Okay.
he sustained. And I know a lot of times broken bones, if they're lower leg, that kind of thing, you can heal up. But I think if it's the upper part of the leg, it's usually about a year rehab. So that's
Mm.
what I'm hearing is likely. I'm not saying I haven't heard definitive from anybody that there's no chance he'll play this season, but I think the odds are we're probably going to have to wait till 2023 to see Winston Wright, which is unfortunate, which is one of the running debates, Tom, at this point. And now that we've got a little bit of a break in the action, we'll take your comments and we'll share some of those. But the big debate when we get to the offseason, there's going to be 2 or 3 more guys that transfer out
Yeah.
or whatever reason leave the program. So there's going to be a couple, I would say probably maybe you get 2 more transfers in. If you had your druthers, Tom, all
Mhm.
things being equal, are you going wide receiver? You go on offensive line, and I think Corey and some people and I have been pushing that defensive tackle that you need some depth there behind the top 2 guys. I mean,
Yeah.
what do you think? And what are the priorities there?
So I can tell you that Corey's in the camp for maybe, excuse me, somebody on the defensive line. There you go, Eric. Yeah, this is Corey Clarkwater, by the way. That's the name of
Yeah.
for Nick Ultra is Corey Clarkwater. Ira agrees with me that the defensive interior is about the deepest group on the roster. You don't need
Yeah,
help
they're
there.
not bad, but I mean, they're not as good as the starters. I get it. There's a drop
Right.
off, but I mean, that's pretty typical. I mean, look, if you get a guy, get a Timmy Jernigan in the transfer portal, sure, you take him. But I
Sure.
mean, I think that goes for pretty much any position. But all things, like I said, all things being equal, I think you can never have too many offensive linemen. We've learned that year after year after year. And there's going to be somebody at one of those Big Ten schools that
Yep.
is maybe lost a tackle or a guard job at Wisconsin or Notre Dame or Iowa or something like that. I'm saying bring that guy in. And then maybe if you have an uber talented wide receiver, I'd love to see that too, which brings in the Hall from Alabama. Now, I know that has been a running debate. I mean, obviously, you look at the YouTube film back in high school, man, he's sick.
So you've got some connections out that way, obviously, Gene. You know, is that kid going to destroy the locker room if Florida State
Well, yeah,
drafts him? How much of a
that's
risk
the
is that?
gamble. That's the gamble you take. But it's one of those things, and this is what the coaches have to figure out: is he a bad kid or is it just a maturity issue? Is it the point? Look, some things happen. He realizes, dude, this is your last chance. You come to Florida State, assuming there's nothing really bad going on. It's just a kid being immature, doing a lot of things. I don't mind bringing him in and saying, but you got one strike. You got the Randy Moss situation here. You jaywalk anything, you're
Yeah.
gone. This is your last chance. And he goes in knowing that. I think you have to take a chance on a guy like that because if he doesn't work out fine, you get rid of him. I don't think it's the big downside. But man, if he hits,
Yeah.
I mean, if he hits in the talent that plays in, they're back playing now.
The ball has been snapped. Lawrence Toafili is moving out to the right. I won't get into a play-by-play, but
But
just
we
for
got a
people
real
who are,
play now for once. I think that's the first real play they have starting out at the
yep,
25-yard
the
line. So
warm-ups are done. Here
the
we go.
Garden Goal game is officially started.
There it is. It's 0-0. The clock is ticking. A full quarter here, 15 minutes. That looked like a sweet play to the right or a quick toss,
Mhm.
and it looks like they picked up 4. So, all right, not
Yeah,
bad.
yeah,
Second
yeah,
and
yeah.
6 would be a great place to live for FSU
Oh man,
all
it's
season
been the
long.
last few years that it's been 2nd and 11 half the time.
Mhm.
You take that every time. It's going strong with a run. There's a real nice run by Toafili.
Once again,
Um,
that's a lot of
Now,
pin and
who's
pull
playing?
action.
Who is the starting offensive line? Someone had asked there. Now that we've got the first team, it's kind of hard. They're not giving us great angles on that, so I'm trying to see.
I've got a few of them. You got Scott at left tackle. You've got Gibbons at left guard. I saw Zane Herring out there, so he's probably playing right
Really
guard 56.
for Williams. Yeah,
Yep, that's happened a lot this spring. Now that I can say it, yeah, Zane Herring has gotten a little
yep.
bit of run there. Bless Harris at right tackle, Maury Smith
Hmm.
at center, as it's 3 straight runs for the
I
number
think that was
one offense.
Fabian making a nice move there. I think he got the ankles of
Mhm.
Toafili on that one. Made it nice because Toafili was about to break a long one. It looked like.
A lot of pulling action again early for that offensive line on the big
There
game.
we
This
go.
is
We
now
got the full
second
shot.
and 8. So 2nd and 8. They got a first down on the second run. The third run, gain of 2. Trayshawn Ward is now on the field for Lawrence Toafili. So now finally we've got a football game that resembles
Yep.
a football game. And we've
And,
got some contact. Is it
oh
really?
boy.
Wow, they didn't throw anything. So an incompletion deep down the left sideline. It looked like Noles on Ja'Kai Douglas. And it looked like there was an awful lot of contact. I guess the officials are from the SEC today
Ah,
because they did not throw a flag. There is no
it's only
replay.
when Florida State's playing another team, Tom.
Yeah, that's right. There is no replay either. So
So Tatum Bethune was not out there. So I think that report might have been accurate, him being a boot. So we saw Lundy and I think Deloach were the 2 guys that are out there as the
that's
starting
correct.
2
Yes,
linebackers right now. Jamie Robinson out there. I see Knowles,
and that's good. Jamie Robinson was in
Duke
and out.
Cooper out there.
Yeah. Jamie Robinson was in and out during camp, so that's good to see him out there today.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's pretty much as we expected, except for Tatum Bethune not being out there with the ones. Oh, there's a nice throw. Nice back shoulder throw.
So on a 3rd and 8 play, now that the play is over, we can describe it, is
that Trayshawn?
That was Trayshawn Ward. Basically a flare route up the right sideline. Looked like kind of a back shoulder throw. Very nicely. Oh, please, with these interviews.
Oh, boy. Now it's Danny Cannell being interviewed, so we're going to miss the next few plays.
Put the damn game on. What are we doing? But a very nice throw by Jordan on a 3rd and 8. That's good to see.
And that's the thing. I know that's a lot. That's one of Aslan's bugaboos get on here, and Corey's talked about that too, how they cannot. I mean, the 3rd and 8, sure, Jordan can run for it, but can Jordan throw to complete a 3rd and long play? So, and he did. He did it there. That was a really nice play. And a back-to-back, another first down throw, Tom.
Yeah, that was to Pokey Wilson. We didn't really see off the line of scrimmage. That was either Amarian or Jamie Robinson that he beat. Now Florida State going tempo on offense. Good drive so far for the ones. They're on the plus 34-yard line with a 1st and 10. Can't talk about what's going on just yet, but Jordan looks sharp with his throws so far. The 2-point conversion drills was an interception party. Everybody who had a chance to throw an interception did. You didn't see Geno English, but it was Tate Rodemaker, Jordan Travis, and A.J. Duffy all throwing picks. But now you're into the real game. And Jordan looks fairly sharp so far.
That was real nice. That last play now went incomplete, but I'll say what stood out to me was good pass protection. You got that first team defensive line from what I can tell, and he had plenty of time in the pocket to step up and throw, and there was just good coverage downfield. It didn't look like anybody was open.
Yeah, you're correct. Definitely the first team on the outside. I'm seeing Malcolm Ray up the middle right now, and he's had a very good camp. Josh Farmer as well. A little less time for Jordan Travis on that particular throw, and it may have
was that a breakup by Coop on that one, Cooper?
It might have been that, or it might have been
he was in coverage. It was tight coverage. I don't know if he got his hand on the ball or not. I couldn't tell, but that's great to see, man. He's been locked down all spring.
They're taking some time there. Now it's a drop. I just rewound it. That's a drop on Johnny.
A drop. Oh boy,
Johnny will make some plays, but
that has been his bugaboo, man. He needs to spend the jugs machine all off season, man. Just work on those hands, because man, he has been impressive, but the lack of the inconsistency catching the football. It's scary because it's going to come at a bad time. It's going to be a close game in the 4th quarter and a 3rd down. He's going to have it to convert it, and we're going to have to punt.
And here's the limitation of a spring game right here, Gene, because they called that a sack on 2nd down. That was a 3rd.
Oh, yeah.
You just never know.
That one, he would have run. He would got positive yards.
Yep. And on the next play, on the 3rd and 19 play, Jordan, it looked like a quarterback draw just to help with field position. So I don't know if they're going to carry out punts and stuff on 4th down. It appears so, because Keyshawn Helton has taken the field as FSU's punt returner. But the cluster is now turned into a real football game, I think would be the big story so far. This looks like something that we would resemble a full scrimmage rather than the drills they were doing earlier.
Now that's a stark stat. At least ACC Network put that. I don't know if you saw that one. They had the leading receivers for Florida State last season. When your top receiver has 380 yards for an entire season, that's not a good sign.
Oh, no. I mean, it's a travesty last year. Who got open? That's the thing. If guys continually get better at getting open, I think we'll start commenting that Jordan Travis is a better quarterback. It's like magic, but there's 2 parts of the equation. Jordan made a couple of errant throws that drive, but he made some good ones, and Johnny Wilson had a key drop on what was
they would have probably ended up converting it and kept the drive going. That killed. The drops are always drive killers.
They are indeed. And they call that a sack anyway, but I don't know. The thing especially when you have a running quarterback, Gene, it's just so hard to make a ruling in a play like that, because Jordan's tough and obviously he can scramble. But now, again, here we go, rapid fire.
Now we're going to see how Tate does, because obviously he had the interception in the 2-point drill.
There's a shot of Mike taking some water. He's also probably sweating bullets for Tate. Everybody is right now.
Yeah, I mean, he needs to show out in this once, it's in front of people. It's a game situation.
Similar play.
Oh, wow. I'm telling you, doing our thing at Indigo, I was bragging about this guy, Tom. I'm just thinking he could end up being a superstar. I love me some Trey Benson. I think he's going to be my guy, man. I see that size. I see that burst around the edge. He could be special.
That was a similar play to the first down call to Toafili when the ones were out there, but a lot more successful. That was a gain of a lot. I don't have the official number, but Trey Benson.
They're on the 20, so that was a 18-yard run on that play, which is nice when you're getting that kind of – and that's the thing, because he has that size and speed when he gets to the edge like that and turns the corner. He's going to get a lot of positive yards.
Second team offensive line today, it looks like Daughtry Richardson is your left tackle. Caden Lyles at center. I'll fill in the gaps here in a second. It looks like Estes is your right guard. And at right tackle, I can't quite tell.
You got better eyes than I, man. I can't tell that stuff.
Yeah, I'm used to it. I've spent a lot of time in the trenches.
I can see Caden because he's so freaking bigger than Maurice Smith, when he's there. And then, wow, another run out. That was
that's DJ Williams on the run.
I got to get used to the 37 on him. I'm like, who the hell is 37? So that's gonna be.
So Kanaya Charlton at left guard for FSU, a true freshman.
Wow.
He's had a good camp. He's lost some weight already. He needs to lose a lot more bad weight. But
is it me or did DJ come on the second half, the last week of camp? It seemed like he was kind of like getting lost in the shuffle. Suddenly he's showing up a little bit more.
It's not just you. And
there's the Tate. Look at that back shoulder throw there.
It has happened. That just was completed to Kentron Poitier.
That was the best throw of the day.
Poitier, he's not like Sidney Poitier. Kentron Poitier. They have chemistry. I'm glad people now, it's on the record, they can see it. 18 and 88 understand each other very, very well. Yeah. So I was glad to see that actually matriculate its way onto a field that people can see.
Oh, that's
great
got
by Tate. The next one, not so much, but a great throw by Tate. That's the kind of stuff we've been seeing in practice. Excellent execution down the right sideline to Kentron.
Well, that was that Hunter Washington that was holding him up there the whole time?
That was
that last route.
That was
McCall again.
That's a hard play for Sam. There's not much you can do there. That's a good ball.
No, the other play was incomplete on the side. It looked like Hunter was just. I don't know if that would have been a flag. He was holding the receiver the whole way down the field. So,
to your earlier point though, Gene, DJ Williams has been a lot better last week and a half. So that's no surprise to see him perform.
Oh boy. Well, at least Tate fell on the ball. That was on him. He didn't get the snap. I don't think it was a bad snap. It wasn't perfect, but I think he should have caught it. I think he just took his eye off the ball to drop back.
Yeah, he's calling for it. I'm watching. No, that's just him. That's on Tate all the way.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah.
No good.
The good news is he was smart and fell on it. I remember that Mark Rick telling me back in the day about quarterbacks. He goes, one of the first things he tries to beat him, never make a bad play, a horrendous play. Just take the bad play. All right.
3rd-14, the ball's been snapped for Cinco.
Oh, and another drop. What are we doing here?
Yeah, well, that's Jackson West. That's the MO on him as well. Jeez. So some drops today. Yeah,
both drives killed by drops.
Looks like a long field goal attempt coming. I think Mike was shouting field goal there. So we'll see which kicker it is. But all right, so Tate bounces back from a 2-point conversion pick that was awful to Sam McCall to make a nice throw. The offense moved the ball there, Gene. Trey Benson with a couple of good plays, DJ with a good play and a good throw from Tate. And now 50 yards on the nose is this
our boy Fitzgerald here.
Yep.
Let's see what he's got. Beautiful. Boy, what a great job they've done. We never give credit to the groundskeepers. How beautiful does that field look? Blocked. That was that – who was that? Lovett? Who was that?
That was Verse, it looked like. Hang on.
Was it Verse? It was 6 or 5. Briggs or 5? We got a field goal block on that one, boys.
50 yards. And usually, no, Verse. So Verse just shot through the gap.
It was Verse. Okay.
He shot through the B gap, and then he gets a hand on it, and it bounces right to Greedy Vance. So you could call it a mistake. Like, here's the other thing, Jay. I see you. You're there. Tons of mistakes. That's right. There are a lot of drops. You're not going to mistake.
Yeah. Both drives have been killed by drops.
You could also say, good play, Jared Verse. That's a good play by Jared Verse there. So it's a mixed bag. They look a little sloppy. They're at commercial now, Gene. So far, you've seen some good runs from Toa Feely, Trey Benson.
All the running backs have done real well.
Williams.
So
yeah.
Waiting for Trayshawn, but he hasn't gotten any reps yet. So he'll be next. Probably in the next series, we'll see some Trayshawn.
And I believe it was Rod Orr that was right tackle for that. And it was 65 Rod Orr. Your right tackle with the second group. So they're a little bit banged up. It was expected that Darius Washington obviously wouldn't be available today, and Mike confirmed that on Tuesday. So that's where they're doing a little bit of extra shuffling. I wouldn't be surprised if you saw a couple of those second-team offensive linemen bump up with the ones today, just based on what I saw in practice. That's as far as I can go without violating our media policy. So
right.
Let me pull up the stats, Gene.
Yep.
Now I think we finally have some. Okay. So bear with me just a moment. And there you go. So far, Tate Rodemaker with 1 completion for 13 yards. It was really nice. But
1 drop. And both, keep in mind, for both those quarterbacks, each had a drop.
They did. Yeah, Jackson West.
One. So the stats would be a little better there.
Johnny Wilson with a drop as well. There you go with the running backs. Trey Benson, 2 for 20. DJ, 1 for 20. Good job. They always do that, though, Gene. Even when they're outgunned on the offensive line, they create those angles. They always do. Mike and Alex Atkins do a great job of that.
Yep. So
yeah, these teams.
Yeah, nothing crazy. It's funny, Tom, if you go to the comparison, because they've got the two FSU. Go to the comparison tab at the top. So I think the team on the left is going to have 0 the whole time.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So that's going to be useless. We'll take a look at the defense next.
Yeah, they're starting back up here, and we've got is that AJ? Is he a quarterback or is that?
I can't tell.
No, that's Travis.
Yeah, it's Jordan.
Jordan's back in there, and there's another run.
That's the right play. That looked like man coverage across the board. If they,
and open up the gap, and when that C opens in the middle, man, it parts. You got to take off and run. He does that well.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a no-brainer for him, and it might be a function of spring game. Maybe you forget about the quarterback and you think that since he's non-contact, he might just stand in the pocket and throw, but not there. Smart play for Jordan.
Yep. I didn't see how long that was.
23-9 softball loss today. That's crazy.
What?
23-9. Wow.
That is crazy.
After extra innings last night. Yeah. All right, 3rd and 7 there. The ball snapped if you're syncing up with us.
And I think that's complete. Did he catch it? No, Jordan's going off the field. Did we have another drop? What happened there?
The official didn't make a signal at all. That looked like a catch to me. This is where if Mike is pissed, he'll overrule it. But it looks like they're coming to the sidelines. Jordan is clearly disagreeing with the call.
Is ACC going to give us a replay here?
It was Cam McDonald. That looked like a catch all the way from the play-by-play angle, but it's hard to tell. And the offense is remaining on the sideline, so it looks like they're calling that another drop, which would be the 4th of the day for the team.
3. Yeah, you had the tight end, you had Johnny Wilson in that one, right?
Okay, yeah.
But considering there's only been how many pass attempts in the game, you've had 3 drops. I mean, that's not.
It's not great.
It's not good. It's not a good look. So Peter Boulware now being interviewed, so he might miss a play or 2.
Yeah, that's right.
And I would have liked to have seen a replay on that last one. So you went back and looked at it again?
And I knew I wouldn't be able to see. I mean, just because his back is to us in the live angle. So, and the official didn't do a thing that was standing right next to him. He just walked over, casually walked.
Yeah.
Jay's having a rough go so far today. There are a few out there that are having a rough go. But I agree, Jay. I mean, there's been a dearth of tight end talent. Ryan Izzo wasn't bad. But other than that, he's still in the league. Ryan is.
Yeah, he is. I'm always surprised when I see him there. So they're starting back up. We got AJ Duffy is now in at quarterback. I guess we got a mix of 2s and 3s going against each other now.
Yeah, that looks like mostly of the 2s with the offensive line. But Thomas Schrader is now in, which is a big deal. Every rep he gets is a big deal to the coaching staff because of the injuries. I couldn't tell who the running back was in that play, but basically a no gain. So
I was telling a lot of people in Indigo about Schrader. I mean, he's a guy that before he got hurt last spring, a lot of people projected him to start a year ago. So now that he's, almost back to full health, getting these reps, has a full off season. I mean, I think he's at the very least, man, he could give you some quality depth at that interior, which you desperately need.
That was totally officially on the first down run, and then DJ that time. 2 runs, not a whole lot to show for it. Maybe about 2 feet in 2 plays.
Yeah, the D line's clogging up everything.
Bishop Thomas was just spotted there. Bishop Thomas is flashed as a true freshman. He's not fundamentally sound by Odell standards yet, but he knows how to play. That was a hit. So was Daniel Lyons. We'll see 90 and 95.
So we got about a 3rd and 9 here, I'm guessing. Mm-hmm. They've got to try to convert. Let's see what Duffy's got here.
Looks like good protection there.
He's scrambled. Got about 3 or 4 yards, but not enough to pick it up.
Yeah.
He had the right guy to beat Steven Dix, but he's probably the slowest linebacker there. He got around him, but Steven Dix did his job, though. He stretched it out enough to slow it down, so good for him.
String it out for help. It's 3rd and forever. Don't do anything crazy.
Dix gets knocked a lot, but when you play the BCs and these teams like that, they're going to try to – I mean, it's such a luxury to have a guy like that who's a thumper. You can put him and Lundy in there and just – you can those smash mouth teams, man, you can match up with them.
Oh, 100%. When they were doing the goal line drills on Thursday's practice, or at Thursday's practice, it was on Bobby Bowden Field in the stadium, and DJ with a thunderous hit inside, the 5-yard line that made a stop.
Well, he looks scary, man. You see that guy. I mean, he looks like an old school, 1970s linebacker.
Yep. How about Peter Boulware just looking trim, man? That dude is.
I see him all the time, man. He looks like he get out there and play still. It's still one of my all-time favorite Noles, man. Him and Reinhard Wilson, that combination was still the most fun thing I've ever seen. Them sitting there throwing Danny Werf all over the stadium on Saturday afternoons was fun.
That was one of the many.
Much to Spurrier's chagrin.
Yeah, that's one of the many times he complained to the media about all that stuff. The echo of the whistle, Gene. You got to play to the echo of the whistle.
Yep, yep. So we got a break in the action here after 3 and out from the third team. So the first and second teams, look, I know people are saying it's sloppy, there have been drops and all that, but at the end of the day, the first and second team offenses did move the football pretty effectively. Outside of the drops,
Yeah.
they both would have got, I mean, the one tried a field goal, but they both would have at least been in field goal range, if not for drops.
Our
Legitimate
guy
field
Jeff
goal
shouting
range.
catch. Yeah, our guy Jeff is shouting catch the ball as he's coughing.
Yeah.
That's the thing that he hates most. So he's having
Jeff
a
might
real.
have a remission watching this game.
He's having a real hard time today. I know that much. He's already texted once. I'm like, oh, yep, I figured that was coming. But it's, the offense so far for the running game looks like what we saw last year, which is they're going to create. They don't want to fight on uneven terms. And so if they don't believe that they can win up front, which chances are they can't against this defensive front, not consistently, they're going to change the terms of the engagement, which is to run to the outside, create angles, pin and pull. And they do a very good job of creating explosive runs out of that. So that's nothing new. The throw from Tate to Kentron is something that we've seen. Finally, y'all got to see. And then outside of the interception fest and 2-point conversion drills, looks like, a little sloppy, but nothing devastating.
I mean, I'm not as down on the offense as some people are. I mean, like I said, the first, second team moved the football. The drops can be cleaned up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's something that they can work on. That's just a mental thing that can be fixed. Sure, it's depressing when you see 3 straight drives and you see drop, drop, drop. But I do think let's see if that continues. I think that'll be tightened up here. And if you drop the ball, man, you don't play. It's as simple as that.
To the 400 plus of you who are watching us right now on Warchant TV, thanks for stopping by to the pilot edition of the Warchant Watch Along. Do us a favor, if you would, please hit the like button underneath this video. It'll help us find more FSU fans who are looking for the game and coverage of it, because we'll be here for the game watch along. And then this link itself, we're going to take a little break after it's over, and we're going to do a post-game call-in show. So if you're here, you're all set until dusk. We're going to be here a long time, and we're enjoying it. So thank you so much for joining us, and make sure to hit that like button. Oh, hey, thanks, Pillar
Eric. One of the pillars. Yeah, we miss you, Eric. We saw a lot of the pillars were there. Joel, James B, Shane, all those guys were out there, man. Had a great time hanging out with them at Corner Pocket and then today at Indigo. So hopefully, Eric, we'll see you. If not Duquesne weekend, where I know we're definitely going to see you at New Orleans.
You'll see him long before that. Genie's moving to Tally. He's going to be here.
Oh, is he?
He put that in the chat yesterday. I know.
Going from Ohio to Tally. That's a good move. Smart move, Eric.
Yeah, upgrade. I mean, they have the DirecTV package. You can watch your Bengals from here. It's no big deal.
Yes. Yep.
So
you watch them go to Corner Pocket. That's a great place to watch games. I head out there every Sunday. They got all the games going on. So
you have an established set of high top tables, Gene. How long have you had those tables at CP?
Probably 3-4 years. We've had the same group going out there doing it. We got our fantasy football league, so it's nice you get to watch them and talk crap each other during the game. So they're back now. They're doing a little bit of situational. They're starting, it looks like, on their 6-yard line. Travis is.
Yep, that's right.
So they're a little bit behind the 8 ball here.
Snap of the ball now. So there you
go. I don't like that play. I never like that play.
Oh,
I don't understand it. I don't understand that play. Put him down. What are they doing to Pokey? Why did someone carrying him around the field? What was that about?
So they called some sort of shovel pass concept where it was odd because Jordan was actually closer to the line of scrimmage than.
Yeah. That was just ugly. I don't understand that. Hopefully that's one they just, for giggles, they threw out in the spring. It's like, burn that, throw that page away, never run that play again.
Yeah. I wouldn't be against that. So 5:55 to go in the first quarter, second down from the 6. Well, maybe the 7.
Was that a tight? Who was that? Oh, we had a tight end catching the ball. Was that our boy Cam? We had a tight end catch the ball.
I think he might have last time too, but good catch there from Cam in traffic. He's been okay, I think, in spring camp. Nothing outstanding.
Solid. Pretty much, you know what you're getting with Cam. I mean, it's not a whole lot. I think he's gotten a little bit bigger. He's a little, like you expect. There's some modest improvement, but he's not going to be an elite, guy.
So again, looking for the first points for the offense today. There was a blocked field goal. If you're just joining us, Jared Verse through the B gap, I think it was. Don't quote me on that. It might have been the C gap, but with a block, and then I guess they didn't give the points, Gene, to the defense. They should have. Greedy Vance wasn't going to be stopped by anybody. That should.
Oh no, yeah, they were free and clear.
Yeah, I don't see those.
So the defense should be winning right now.
They should be. Yeah.
That would be depressing if the defense won the Garnet Gold game.
They might. They might, though.
Can we put that down? Look, we don't need it. We're already not abiding but what the ACC tells us. We need a little scoreboard. We'll put defense 7, offense 0. Like, we know what we should have done. Remember Bobby Bowden used to have the old system for the spring game, how they would score it? Like, you get a point for a sack, the defense would. Turnover, you get like 2-3 points and all that. So they had a weird scoring system, the way they did that back in the day. So I think we need to we should have implemented that, Tom, and had our own scoring system.
Did I miss a play? Because now
Well, they weren't showing it. They did a Bobby Bowden retrospective, and they were showing Doak. They weren't showing the plays, but no, they're going. Rademacher's going out in the field now, so I don't know what we
I
might have
guess
missed a play.
punted. I don't know. I'm seeing a punt in the play-by-play, but I thought there was one down to go. I thought there was a third down to come. So I've got no.
It was situational. We don't know what they might have done there.
They can't hide in the regular season, people. There are going to be some weird things that happen during the spring game. That's just the way these things go. So
now Tate is getting it at the 48-yard line, the other side of the 48. So they're doing a little different situational here. And is that Trey again? Look at that. Look at that. Oh my goodness. I'm telling you, Tom.
Yeah, that'll work. That's going to work.
He made the first guy miss. He got to the outside, a little stiff arm action.
Trey Benson runs really fast for a dude that tall. I mean, and he's not 6'5", everybody, but he is legitimately 6'1", and he just looks different. And you're seeing it now. That'll work. He also
that was an SEC back type run there that we have not seen around here.
Angry intentions on the finish.
Oh my goodness.
Oh wow.
I'm sorry, Trayshawn and some people might have some issues. I mean,
so
we're not seeing something here.
This is the Trey Benson show now, everybody. That is also a.
Oh, we got our bot did show up finally. Thank you, bot.
Did you eject that? I'm watching the blocks downfield. Decent blocking by Johnny Wilson downfield on the second Trey Benson run.
Yep. And that was.
I
was trying to put the guy in timeout. Was that Benson again? So they've got the offense is driven down to the 5-yard line now.
Yeah, Trey Benson.
Oh, they're taking him out after 3 runs. Yeah, he's done his job. He got you down there.
So I know Corey is like the one in charge on staff of doing kitschy nicknames and stuff like that. But if Benson scores a house call, can he call it the Benson burner or no? Is that just
that is his job usually, but that's not bad. That's not bad, Tom. I don't know, people out there on YouTube TV. What do you think about that? The Benson burner.
We'll workshop.
All right, throw it away. Okay, good job, Tate. So Tate had to roll to his left on that. There was some pressure, and instead of forcing it, he did the right thing and threw out of the back of the end zone.
Sugar. I'm behind you, Gene. That's okay, though. It's no big deal. But you're right. It was a get rid of the ball moment. And I guess he was trying to see if he could put Johnny in a position to make a play.
No, I'm glad he waited to the last minute thinking there's something might happen. You got Wilson back there. You got a shot. I don't mind him putting it up there in the corner for Wilson if no one else can come down with it.
So
but I mean, you settle for 3, at least get something. So they've gotten it down to it's 3rd and goal. This is the last shot at the 5-yard line. So we'll see with Tate, the quarterback, really good. Oh, there's Tate again.
So they might call that a touchdown. I would call that a sack. That looked like a screen pass with the instant pressure in the backfield on that play.
So Keyshawn, we don't know. Keyshawn did get the ball over the goal line on the catch, but we don't know when they blew the whistle.
Called it a sack.
They did call it a sack.
Shaheem, I think that's correct. That was instant pressure, and you'll see the replay here.
Yeah,
he's done.
So somebody missed on the right side. There wasn't even blocked.
That's Rod Orr.
He went in. He got a wrong read or something. He went inside and just missed the end. Who was on the who got the sack? Did we see officially?
Shaheem Brown got credit in the official game book, so it was an edge pressure from the right.
Okay, so they're going to go for the field goal at least to get on the board here. But it was a nice play by Rodemaker. He made this throw, and if not for the pressure, it would have been a touchdown for the offense.
Yeah, it was a good throw. He actually got hit as he threw it too. So and there's also a field goal that was not blocked, and it went through the uprights.
Yeah, so they have made a field goal.
That counts for 3, I'm told.
So the offense has scored. So now it's defense 7, offense 3.
Even though that's not what they're going to put up on the graphic, but you're absolutely right.
I don't care. You know what? I count Bobby Bowden's wins on Warchant, so I can do what I want. They can't force me. So I'm saying the defense is up 7-0.
There we go. So it is written. You're the founder and administrator. Yeah, correct, Philip. Trey Benson does look real nice. Gene had been talking about that a while. We all were. That there are different things that Trey Benson can do relative to some of the other backs on the field. I'll pull up his stats here too, actually, since we're talking about him and they've got an interview on the field. Big surprise. 5 for 63 is going to work. Whoa, Gene, what are you pulling?
No, I'm trying to get this bot out of there. I hit the wrong button.
That's probably,
That's a wonderful thing about live TV or live things, man. We just can't,
the bot made the screen. That's okay. Yeah.
Nobody else, our users can't get attention, but the sex bot gets on.
So 5 for 63 for Trey Benson, and that's an easy 63, Gene. He's There's a couple of things. You saw the finish, like you were talking about, like an SEC style finish to one of the runs with the physicality, and then also the
Making the
first
guy
one,
miss in the backfield, and that was
yes,
beautiful.
that is, you're setting up a move from 5-6 yards away, and that's an excellent cut that he made. I didn't catch the number on the slot defender on the play, but so you're seeing a blend of the speed, he sets it up, and then also the power to finish. So good. Trey Benson, full marks so far in this game.
Yeah, so return to action. We've got back now. It's doing more traditional, starting at their 20-yard line, and they've got Jordan Travis is back at quarterback for the offense. So we've got more of a it looks like more. This is more of a 1-versus-1, and of course we're doing that now. We're not going to show the game because we're doing Graham Gano. As much as we love Graham, we're missing the action on the field.
Yeah, I'm gonna. So you let me know.
They're back. They're back. Okay. So I don't think we missed anything. I was worried we were.
I'm just watching that play that got destroyed, and the whole left side kind of got caved in. So that's what happened on the first down play. Nothing.
Nothing. You didn't miss
good old fashioned
there.
whooping by the defensive line.
So that was Rodney Hill, the freshman, getting some action there. Has Trayshawn not been out there? Is he not available today?
I saw him on the first drive. He came in.
Okay.
I don't know that he got a carry or not. But nice play for Rodney Hill on second down. They're running that perimeter little toss, outside.
Trayshawn was one of those ones that got piled up in the middle, so he has one carry. So he has seen action. I want to make sure he was okay. So it's good to see Rodney Hill get some action there.
That was kind of an option pitch. Jordan has the option to keep that in a live setting, I think. But Rodney broke it out.
Nice breakup. That's real nice. Is that Lundy? Man, in the middle of the field doing a breakup. That's something you don't see very often.
I have yet to see it. See, I'm so far behind.
Really? Okay, yeah. DJ Lundy's a pass in the middle of the field. I think it was one of the tight ends. I couldn't tell. Lundy got in there and did a pass breakup.
Yeah, that's Jackson West. He ran the route for Jackson West. You've seen that a few times today. So on the pick by Sam McCall, they jumped the route in 2-point conversion drills, and that was Toafili that was coming out of the backfield on an angle. And then Kevin Noles on Pokey Wilson. He kind of ran the route for him. Same thing there. DJ kind of ran the route ahead of Jackson West. He knew exactly what was going to happen. And Flabby Gilmore. Gene's wondering why I'm saying Flabby. That's why.
Hey, thank you, Flabby.
Thank you for the contribution of the program for the first score. All right. Well, it's 3. 3's on the board.
That's a very appropriate avatar or thumbnail here for the Masters.
Yep, absolutely.
We appreciate that. And still the same. Still running away with it. I'm trying to see what's the leaderboard. Can we flash the leader? I guess we'll wait till halftime till we do a little Masters analysis from Tom.
Yeah, right. Scott. Oh man, Cam Smith got hot, Gene. So Scotty's holding at 10 under. Cam Smith at 7 under. So we might have an interesting Sunday yet. So there you go. That's your 5-second Masters update.
Yeah. We'll give you more at halftime. It's catching on, Tom.
Oh, the Benson burner. There you go, Mike. All right. See, all right. You put the trademark on it. Let's make
Corey's going to be upset that's usually his role.
Sorry, Corey. Hey.
So we had a little throw out there to what am I drawing a blank? Oh, so that's Mika again. So was he in the backfield on that?
Yeah, Micah. Yeah.
Micah in the backfield.
Duffy to Micah is a little bubble. I think that was a little bubble play.
Okay.
So, again, here you go. Can I get a lot of run? Thomas Schrader's out there on the offensive line. Fuller with the tackle there on Rodney Hill.
Yep.
Fuller's had a decent camp, Gene. Flashes here and there. It's not the consistency of a Jared Verse, but he's been okay.
Yep. So, Duffy leading the offense now. Got mostly 2s and 3s. That was a nice breakup there.
Yeah, well contested. Is that McClellian? I think.
Yeah, that was McClellian. He did a really nice job on that one. But I'll tell you, a lot of hands getting on. There's some drops, obviously, but a lot of defensive backs getting hands on the balls, which is something we didn't see a whole lot of the last few years. So very active in the secondary.
Doesn't look like they're going to try and go for it in this situation. So you can in the spring game. What difference does it make, really? But I guess they're going to punt it.
No, I think one of the Scuda man was saying on chat that was a drop. No, that was a good breakup. That was a good play by McClellan.
Yeah,
it looked like he got his hand on the ball.
There's some drops that are not all drops are equal. Like a created the same. Like the Johnny Wilson earlier, that's a drop and a half. The Jackson West earlier, drop. That Marquiston play, that was good. That was good defense.
Yep. And even Lundy out there making plays.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't typically see Lundy in the middle of the field isolated on a running back on a third down play. Mm-hmm. It's not what I would want to see, but I guess it's the spring game.
That's probably worth repeating now, Gene, too, that Tatum Bethune is not suiting up today, but it's not believed for any serious reason that would hold him up for the fall or anything. But no Tatum Bethune today.
I always get a sigh of relief when they talk about injury and I hear it's a boot. Because, I mean, if people who aren't around the program, that's one of the most common things you'll see. I mean, sometimes it's even preventative. Or a guy just has a sore ankle, they put it on, it's off in a day or two. I really think if he is, if that's accurate, and it sounds like it is, using a boot, man, it's one of those things. Usually it's days or at worst a couple weeks. It's a sprained ankle. Worst case, a high ankle sprain. They sit him out for a month or so, and he should be good to go.
So a little shift on the offensive line this time around with the ones. Bryson Estes is playing left guard, Zane Herring right guard. So they're giving Gibbons a break. And they did that a lot this spring camp. I'll say that now. Gibbons got a lot of breaks because they know what they got there.
Yeah. And we got Jordan back. Yep, Jordan back at quarterback. And it's the Benson burner once again.
There you go. Gain of 10, like it's nothing.
He's up to, if this is up, I think he's up to 87 yards. We might have a 100-yard rusher here, which you don't see very often in a spring game.
Yep, I'll give that a sip of Corey Clark water if he gets up to 100 yards. Are they going to get the playoff before the quarter? That's the question. 3, 2, 1.
They got it. And powered ahead, I like it. Even not much there. Got 4 yards on that play when there was nothing there.
Not bad. It should be noted too. Again, the ones on defense in terms of the interior, they mix it up a little bit. Cooper and Lovett have been out there a little, but I think they want to have some genuine work. And Cooper and Lovett don't let that happen very much. So I think it was Farmer out there with the group. So it's probably the backups.
Yeah, I think let's get him to 100 yards. Coons, let's get him to 100, and then I agree with you. Let's let him rest because he's obviously coming off pretty serious injury. But you know they've increased his workload, I think, throughout the spring, and he has not shown any signs. He looks like he's, as you can see today. I mean, he looks like he's good to go.
Yeah, there you go, Damon. Sorry, Gene, I didn't mean to.
No, you're good.
Yes, he did call him the Benson burner. I'm trademarking that. We're putting it on shirts.
Oh, did me? I thought they're saying Deckerhoff. So no. Tom, that's all about Tom. So I'm thinking NIL deal. We got to get Benson. Maybe I got to get Michael and Austin who are out there for recruits. Get Benson. We got to have him sign the NIL deal for the Bunsen burners, and we'll sell those shirts.
Yeah, we could even sell Bunsen burners. There you go. Just with it.
There you go. Get them as a sponsor.
Yeah, we'll get the contract with the chemistry department at FSU. We'll make a killing. So the end of the first quarter, the official score according to the scorekeepers is 3-0.
The Warchant score is 7-3 defense.
That's correct, because Jared Verse blocked a kick. It went straight to the kicker's right into Greedy Vance's lap, and Greedy caught it out of the air. And
there was nothing but green grass in front of him.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt.
So we want to flip to the stats here, Tom.
Sure.
See if there's
you want to see defensive now? I can switch to that maybe.
Yeah, let's look at the defense, see what they're doing.
Bear with me for just a moment. This is basically their mobile settings. Look at that. Sam McCall leading the way with 4 tackles so far.
Never a fan when your defensive backs are leading the team in tackles, but
and you don't know exactly how they assess these things.
Yeah.
Do they start counting defense during 2-point conversion drills, or is this just legit?
Yeah.
But a lot of linebackers there, Gene.
Yeah, Verse with 2 tackles for loss.
2 sacks. They give him 2 sacks there.
Sacks on there, okay.
They gave Malcolm Ray a sack as well.
Well, 2 sacks and a quarterback hurry for Verse. That's not bad for a quarter. I will take that all season, Tom. We'll take 8 sacks and 4 pressures a game. That's fine.
I'm seeing 4 tackles for loss, 5 tackles for loss total. Shaheem Brown had a sack as well. That was on Tate in the goal line. Oh, they're honoring Gene. Gene walked out there. That's really cool.
Oh, great.
So he walked out the tunnel. That's probably a really awesome moment. I wish I was there for that. Good for FSU. Good job, guys.
Yep. He's being. I don't know if this was this tape before the game. You think? Or is this going on right now?
Had to have been. Otherwise, Tom Block would be calling the next 50 plays.
Yeah. Yeah, he's back in the booth. So that was pregame. They honored Gene before the game. Took him to midfield. They had his jersey there. That's well deserved.
Gene is not that emotional of a guy. He really stays locked in, but I wonder. I look forward to hearing the call today and see if there's a moment of reflection where maybe it hits him. But he looks emotional there. He does. Yeah. Oh, he's taking a photo with his family. Oh, that's good stuff.
Yeah.
What a legend, man. I'm glad that he's calling for my Bucks for one more year. But
is it only one more year he's doing? Did he say that?
It's the end of whatever his current contract is.
Right.
But I believe that's 1 year. So That's what's up
You
next
know, I
here.
was thinking this day and age of if he still wants to do it of technology with Gene, I mean, he could literally do it from his living room if he wanted to. And I know talking to Gene, and I've known Gene for 20 plus years. It's the travel. I think that's really when you have to. I don't think people realize what he has to do to cover a Florida State game and then go across the country to cover the Bucks. Half the time, it is daunting for him to have to do that, and then you throw in basketball as well. It's a lot of duties for him. So I wonder at this point. Obviously, Tampa home games. It's a short drive for him. But I'm
Yep.
wondering technology nowadays, could he do it? Could he do it from his living room?
Oh, it looks like they have him on the broadcast. That's cool.
Oh,
Good
awesome.
job.
So yeah, Gene's now on ACC Network. They're interviewing him.
Don't say that very often. Sheldon, real quick, 7 for 77 are the stats for Benson. 7 carries, 77 yards. So that'll
Yeah, I
work.
had him at 8. I had him at 77. He had the 10-yard run. Maybe stat broadcast is ahead of us.
Oh, it could be. Could
That
very
may be
well.
why.
Maybe there's like 5 plays that have been run, Gene, and then they're just doing this. It's hard to know. Although that looks like a pre-recorded interview because look at the stands.
There's nobody in the stands, nobody on the field.
There's my Zapruder film skills for you right there. So far, better day for the defense, right? And then there's a flash from Tate, and Trey Benson is the big star of the day so far.
Yeah, absolutely. At least we saw. I mean, the first series was awful, the 2-point conversion drill, but that wasn't part of the game, so just scratch that out. But yeah, I think the little bit we saw from Tate, he's looked good. That the best throw of the game was Tate to Portier on that back shoulder throw, and Benson clearly is stealing the show right now.
Tying the record for the longest handshake in history here on the interview. Gene, I think this handshake is over 20 seconds long.
Yeah, Gene's getting uncomfortable there enough.
Let go. Let go of me. Look at that. You can see how windy it is today, too, above that graphic. Graphic for Gene. It is whipping out there today. So I don't know, Gene Williams, if that affects the downfield passing calls. I don't know if they'll be able to do that as much. Not that they've been adept at it for years and years here at FSU, but still it might affect the way you call the game.
Yeah, so they're back out there. I think that's Tate's back out there, and they're inside. They're starting inside the 10-yard line now. Another kind of situational guess, but nice pickup on first down.
Not the best throw in the world, but a good job by Pittman to square up his body to put himself in position to,
and a positive gain. Again, Tom, we talked about it before. I mean, that's one of the bugaboos of this offense the last 2-3 years is they always put themselves in a hole.
Yeah.
And they're always behind the sticks on second down. You can't have that. There's nothing wrong with a 3rd and 6.
Yeah.
And it puts you in this situation here where it's a run or a pass. So it was actually a 6-yard game, so that was a 2nd and 4. And so it allows them to run a play like this, which the next play they did was kind of a run up the middle. Which again, positive yards, puts you in a 3rd and very makeable play. I think that was
they gave him
DJ Campbell. That was Campbell.
Yep.
Again, and so now they gave him a first down on that. So I guess they picked it up. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Campbell's had a very nice camp, 22.
Oh, it really has. Oh, they're going downfield. Yeah. Little overthrown, but it was good coverage.
It looked like Micah may have stopped too a little bit there. Maybe that's because Jarian was tugging at him, but it didn't look like he was running all the way. Not that effort's a problem with Micah. I'm not trying to suggest that, but that just looked a little bit off.
Who was that? Was it Dent on coverage or was Dent the safety?
Jones. That was Jarian.
It was nice coverage. It's right on his hip. Now, a perfect pass might have got there, but again, like I said, there was if you're not, those of you who aren't in Tallahassee, there was a wind advisory warning today, 30 to 40 mile an hour winds, which is crazy because it just looks like a beautiful day. If you're watching on TV, can't tell that except when they showed the flags above the scoreboard, but it is really whipping out there. So that was a good defensive play there on first down to get, I don't know if it was a tackle for loss or a no gain on that play. I didn't see who made the tackle, Tom.
It might have been a -1, but it looked like they're not quick enough on the O-line at that level, that 2nd or 3rd team in order to, they're trying to pull there with Stinney and Rod Orr, and I don't know that that's going to work.
Yeah, it looks like a no gain. They left it on the 20, so it's third and 10. And now because they tried to take the deep shot on the first play, which is fine, and then looks like we might have an offsides on.
It's on somebody.
No, it's Jared Jackson. Jared Jackson looks like he's offsides unless he was drawn off. We'll see what they call here.
Get an official shot here. Oh, so Gene is still on. So they're doing a spot with him. That's cool. So maybe he's calling some plays. That's pretty cool. Anybody watching, let me know. Are they? Let us know. Is Gene calling some plays here?
Or are they just interviewing him?
Yeah. That'd be pretty cool if they let him.
So we're back. So they did call that was a penalty on Jared Jackson,
Yep.
an offside. So they've got a 3rd and 5. So this is a good situation here to see how Tate responds. Good. Oh,
That's
I think
a sack.
that's a sack.
That's a blow by Quayshawn
Yep.
Fuller.
Yep. He got around the edge, whoever the tackle was, and it did not do a great job. But to Quayshawn's credit, he got around him and got it to the quarterback.
True freshman. So there you go. Thank you, Drew, and everybody else. That Gene is calling some plays on the TV broadcast. Good job, ACC Network. Don't say that often, but legit.
Yeah. Hey, when credit's due, you got to give it to him.
That's pretty fun. Quayshawn again has flashed. Like I said earlier in the broadcast, there have been some times, but that's a mismatch. Daughtry Richardson is not ready for prime time yet, and he shouldn't be. He should be at prom, so that's okay. But Quayshawn is somebody that's definitely going to be in the rotation unless they dip into the portal for another edge rusher. He's good enough to get some reps, I think, in the fall.
Yep. So how's that ultra doing, Tom? Is that number 1 still?
Number 1. Oh yeah, you got
pacing. I get it.
It's a long day. It's a long day.
I don't temper myself there at a Hotel Indigo. They had the bar right there, man. It's tough.
Yeah,
talking football and not trying to slow your roll drinking.
If that was the final assignment of the day, I might have dipped in for a cocktail. But thankfully, Jay, who is awesome over there at Hotel Indigo, it was a beer. I had 1 beer, 1 cerveza.
So he asked about Gregory asked Pittman's done. He said he had a couple short catches. He's got 2 catches for 10 yards so far. He's been solid, but nothing crazy. But again, they have not really been able to get the passing game going too well. A lot of drops, not by him, but there have been drops that have really stifled some drives.
And a really good camp for him, though, Gregory.
Oh, yeah. He's been outstanding.
So there's Trayshawn Gene with a positive play.
There we go.
5 yards up the middle. If I spy that right, it looks like we've got some third-teamers maybe on the defensive front. Yeah, you got some guys. And the edge rushers, that's Hester and Peyton, I think. Oh, did they just go to –
They went to a commercial right before a play was about to launch. You know what it was? We jinxed it, Tom, because you credited the ACC Network.
I did.
So they cut out during a play.
They reminded me who they are.
Yep.
You can't even give us a playing through like PGA, I mean, come on.
Yeah, have a box on the side, at least show the game going.
There you go.
Yeah, there we go. Thank you. Do we have one of those for ACC Network?
Yeah, I think Gary Patterson here represents the whole network at this point. You tried. Yikes.
All right, who's been dropping the ball? So we had Johnny Wilson, Jackson West. Who was the other one? It was a Cam? Was the other one?
Technically, yeah. But, I mean, that was one that we were not sure about. Jordan.
The other 2 were just clean, horrible drops.
Yeah. There was another one, too, I think. But,
yeah.
Whatever the case. This is actually moving fairly fast for a college football game. I think in the fall, Gene, we'll have plenty of time to recap all of these things because it's not really a running clock. And that LSU game, for example, is going to have commercial breaks every 10 seconds because it's the only one that's on. So,
yeah, but hey, at least you've got another team to talk about.
Mm-hmm. Yes, no doubt. Carol, that's a fair question. I see her down there. She says, where are the receivers? They nothing great. Poitier with a nice catch on the back shoulder. Tate. Pittman's been okay, but Pokey's had a really good camp. Hasn't shown out today. There was an interception and a one-on-one with Kevin Noles and Johnny with a drop. So it's they are continuing the commercial break, Gene. It
looks like I think they had a couple. I'm seeing their plays. You better go to Stat Broadcast. It looks like there's actually a couple of plays. I see Wilson, I think, had a catch.
Okay,
again, let's go to the play-by-play here because since ACC Network is doing an onslaught of commercials during the game. So what's the latest play here?
All right, so Keyshawn
Helton. Yeah, go ahead.
Toafili had a run for 3 yards, and we had a broken up a PBU by Demore Tate on Ontario Wilson. Pokey Wilson was the target for Jordan Travis, and they cut back to the action just in time for an interview. Oh, dear God.
So our buddy B-Mac, Brian McFadden, getting interviewed on the sidelines. But yeah, I guess the highlight of that drive is Jordan had a 13-yard pass and completion to Keyshawn Helton, if I can speak. So that was a positive there. And then Travis had said no gain.
Yeah, I had to pull that one down, Gene, just in case, because now it's refreshing with new plays that probably would violate the play-by-play stuff.
Right, so. Gotcha.
But, okay, 2nd and 9, so they
got the box thing figured out now, so they've got the interview in one box and the game actually going on, so we're not missing the game. So somebody got the memo.
What a world we live in. So it's plus territory inside the 30-yard line, the snap. There's 7 minutes to go on the clock right now if anybody's trying to sync up.
Did they not blow that dead?
It looks like they didn't blow a run for Jordan dead. I would have there.
Yeah.
Are they
Are they actually calling a touchdown on that?
Oh, man. Yes, they are. According to Stat Broadcast, that is a 25-yard run for Jordan Travis. The only way I'd agree with that, Gene, is if he bumped into his own offensive lineman before breaking left. Hopefully they found the technology for a replay, and if you see one of those.
Listen to Tom.
If they show us a replay, then we can be a better judge. They're going for 2? What is this? I guess they're going for 2.
They did so well the first time. Now it says 1st and goal. So
it was 1st and goal. So they marked him out of it. What?
There was a defender who chased him down there. Like he would have definitely scored.
If you're going to let him break outside left and let him. Oh, look at this.
No, I think they stopped it. I think that was a stop. Nice defense, strung it out.
Yep. Yeah.
So Trayshawn with a run.
Second and goal
for Toafili. I'm sorry. Was it Toafili or Trayshawn?
Yes.
8 or 9?
Toafili 9.
So they had a run to the left. It looked like it was going to get in. Defense did a nice job stretching it out, and they stopped him on the 1. So now you got a 2nd and goal. So we'll see what they do here. This looks like they got it in. Got it in there.
Hey, notice that Eberle is snapping the ball there, Gene. That's not significant. Or not. Oh, my God. Did I just say Eberle?
Yeah, Eberle. I'm like, you got a time warp there, Tom?
Oh, my God. There's my first time warp of the day. Usually I do that with Christian Jones. But Caden Lyles, 54.
Yes.
Caden Lyles snapping the ball.
Eberle. I'm like, he's back? He's got 10 years of eligibility?
Senility is setting in too early, Gene. What's going on here? All right, so since they're not going to show the replay, if something happens, that's cool, Gene. Let me know. I'm going to go back and look at that Jordan run and see if he bumped into his own O-lineman.
Yeah. So, on the was that Toafili on the touchdown there?
Yes, it was.
So, officially, if they make the extra point, which is coming up here, it's going to be 10-0. But again, it's offense against defense. There's a block field goal earlier that would have gone for a touchdown, so it really should be. So I think I don't know if they called a flag on this, so they did not kick the extra point.
There is no way on earth that that's a 25-yard run for.
Was there a defender there?
Yeah.
So
that's home cooking for a spring game.
Yep.
And
so anyway,
yeah. So now the score is 10-0. So 10-7 by Warchant measures because of the blocked kick and the return for a touchdown. So 10-7.
Well, we need the extra point. 9. It's 9.
Facebook bot. We don't need the FAU spring game. We've seen enough of that.
That's FAU. Let me get them out of there.
No, thank you.
All right. Yeah, I thought maybe with somebody giving the link to our game. I don't know why they would put that on. Oh, did that hit the upright and go in?
It probably did. I see 10-0 on the live play-by-play.
Yeah. So they did. So that's the walk-on kicker there.
That is
97. I forget I don't know what his. I don't have the roster in front of me to know his name. 97. The walk-on kicker.
Aslan knows his name. Not that helps us right now. Shariari, I think. Aiden Shariari. Yeah. And it looks like, Gene, on that drive for the ones that they had some, 3rd and 4th team defensive linemen there. So a little bit of that success was, if you look at the goal line push, I think that's not in any small part because of who was out there. That's in large part because of who was out there.
But anyway, officially the offense finally has a touchdown, even though, like you said, it was a little shady on the long run from Jordan Travis to get it down inside the 5-yard line. But it's a spring game.
Here we go. Second quarter, 10-0. So they're in a commercial break right now. Hopefully that means that there's not action taking place on the field. But we'll get confirmation on that shortly. 2016. Thank you, Ryan.
You're not going to live that one down.
Well, that happens sometimes. I just see 54, and I should assume better. I should assume better out of Lyles. But yeah, going to be a lot of yes, I agree with that. Wouldn't you, Gene?
Yeah, it should be. I know there's going to be, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, a lot of quarterbacks that are mobile, you got to take advantage of your strengths, and that is obviously a huge strength for this offense for him to do that. Yep. I just want to make sure when he does scramble, get out of bounds, slide when you got that first down, because that's the thing, man. I don't mind running quarterbacks, but I don't like quarterbacks that get hurt a lot.
Well, and this is where I'll go on my spiel here real quick. It's impossible to really evaluate the offensive line beyond the fact I get it. They're average to below average. I get it. All right. I'll concede that much. But when you have either injuries and or cross-training going on in a spring camp where you're not preparing for an opponent, you're not looking for the best 5 and you're not building the chemistry. So I'll get off my soapbox in a second, but that's the point. When you have younger players and second and third teamers moving up because they want to see who fits best in an emergency situation. And that's going on for a full practice or two. I've seen that with my own eyes. How the hell are you going to form chemistry with somebody next to you with any consistency? So they're already outmatched, and then they don't have the chemistry to go along with it. So I think what you're seeing right now is the worst of what the offensive line's like.
Yeah, that's true. And you got to get these guys, got to get the reps. I mean, that's what spring practice is for
Yep.
out there. And yeah, we brought up, and a couple people were talking about Tatum Bethune in the chat. We brought up, yeah, he's not playing in this game. He was spotted with, I believe it, that he was spotted in a walking boot. Well, everything we hear, it's probably very minor.
Yep.
He'll probably be back working out with the team in a week or two. So, I don't even know. It might be one of the situations if this was a real game, maybe he plays. But, my point is it's not serious. Don't worry about it. It's unfortunate. I would have liked to have seen him in this game because he is going to be one of the starters on defense, obviously a big-time part of that linebacker core. So we're back in action now.
Yep. 6:10 on the clock, 6:09 for people who are looking to sync up. That was an end around to Deuce Spann.
Deuce, our first Deuce sighting.
There's so many jokes there.
Yeah. You potty brain. Come on, Tom.
Well, that's also one of Gene's calling cards, though. Gene Deckerhoff with Anton Smith. The deuce is loose.
Yeah.
So we'll see if he break. Well, no, he won't be able to break that out. It's today or nothing. It's today or nothing.
We need the Deuce to do something there.
This is your only chance. So second down after whatever that was, a 4-yard gain or so.
Campbell's back out there.
Campbell for a no gain or maybe a loss of a yard. Looks like
poor Duffy has not had much of a chance to do anything on offense so far. They've just been
and that's
smothered.
That's Malcolm Ray and Farmer up the middle too. That's decent time given there, but
got some time there. Just was not open. There's just nothing there.
Oh, Mike's not happy with what he saw from AJ. There must have been a read because he's
somewhere else. Because where he threw it, there's no chance I was going to be complete.
So easy lip read. I can't do it now. I can't read it anymore because he's talking too fast. But he said, "Come here," and then what did you see? It was a simple question that quarterback coaches ask, and I know that he's not the official quarterbacks coach, but offensive minds ask their quarterbacks all the time because Mike clearly saw something that was open that AJ did not, and he was not pleased.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things you got, and that's the thing. People look at arm talent, they look at physical skills, they look at all the high school numbers, but I mean, it's the processing thing and making all those right reads. It's a totally different ballgame in college, and that's why you rarely see. And I know there's always exceptions; they're freaks, but you rarely see true freshman quarterbacks go out there at a high level in Power 5. It just doesn't happen. It takes a while to learn the process. So nobody's expecting Duffy to get significant playing time this year, but he definitely has the talent. Now we'll see by next year, next spring, he better be making that throw next year.
Yeah. And I'll bet he will. And that's the other thing too. Yeah. You mentioned that, Gina. That's what happened with Tate last year. And this is Ira's overriding point about 18 is if all the reps you're getting in practice are with a patchwork offensive line, you're not going to look good and your confidence is going to get shot. So I'll bet Duffy has been a guy that consistently, you've read about it in the scrimmage reports and the whispers and things that Mike Norvell said. There may be 10 really good throws of practice across the board from all the quarterbacks, like 10 really, really good throws. And Duffy will always be in the top 3. Like his best throws translate today, now. It's just about all the other stuff in between.
Right. Yeah. Which is something that's the learning process. You can pick up those other things. Yeah. Matthew, that's a funny one. Yeah. Destin's killing it today.
Hey, a deep shot. And, was that a breakup? They're going to call that PI. That's interesting to me.
He might have got a hit up. Wow, I don't think that's a PI. But we've got our first bad officiating call we can complain about.
Yeah, that was a deep shot to Ja'Kai from Jordan Travis, and that looked like McClellan in coverage. The ball was a little underthrown, but again, with the wind gusting, I'm not going to judge a quarterback on a throw 15 yards down the field. I thought it was good coverage by McClellan. What do you think, Gene? You agree?
Yeah, I'd like to see have they done a replay? Have they done one replay?
Maybe a replay of an interview. But
yeah, I thought it was good coverage. I did not think that was an interference. But you know what, Tom? This is representative of what you get during an ACC afternoon. So usually those plays, Florida State gets flagged out 9 times out of 10. So I'm not surprised. But it looked like a good play. I think it was McClellan. But again, the ball's not underthrown. It's probably completed. But like you said, there's 30-mile-an-hour winds going on out there. So that's not surprising.
Nice play.
Yep, real nice play.
Gant, 28. I think that was Gant on Toafili.
Yep.
For the defense again, broken record. That is the first team offensive line out there too, from what I saw. I see Bless Harris, I see Rob Scott, but they're cutting away now, so I can't tell you the rest. 2nd and 10.
So I guess they didn't assess a penalty.
Yeah.
They just made it. I guess they called it incomplete, which is
Cutting
probably the right call.
Atkins on the sideline. He'll remain on the sideline as the OC this year. That's his
Well, you got to be there with the offensive line. You can't be up in the booth. So if we figure that, obviously Tokraz is up there.
I believe
Tokars is
that's
up
yeah,
there.
Tokars, yeah.
Is he going to be the main offensive guy? Well, there's a nice look at that.
So that reminds me of an old Jimbo call, Gene, a backside screen. Like they're going to go bubble
to the tight end.
And then instead
Wyatt
of
Rector with a nice catch on a bubble screen went for about 20 yards.
Would have been a field side bubble fake to a backside screen to Wyatt Rector. Good stuff there. Good blocking downfield too from Robert Scott there. Yeah, Caden Lyles, not Alec Eberle, is snapping the ball. Estes at left guard. Who is it? Right guard there. That's it. Is that Herring again?
I don't know how you're seeing numbers. I mean, I'm looking on a computer screen. I can't, so I got small.
That's Herring. All day for Jordan. Yep. I haven't said that yet.
Really nice pressure. I mean, really nice protection there for that. That was great by the offensive line, but also the secondary because that was coverage. He had plenty of time to find somebody. He didn't.
Yeah, 100% agree.
Johnny, we don't see the secondary, but he had all day to throw and just decided to run out of bounds.
Johnny Wilson getting some time out there with Jordan Travis. That hasn't always been the case. So I'm glad to see that today. Maybe Johnny will catch a ball if it's thrown his way this time. We'll see.
So we got about a little over 3 minutes left in the first half. So it'll be interesting to see in the second half, do they go to running clock or, they're going to go to more drills? Let's hopefully more special teams drills, Tom. We love those.
Oh, yes, indeed we do. Nice burst.
All right. Nice run. Ooh, putting the head down.
Tiptoe Feely. There you go. There's your
RG. Yes. Yeah, that was not bad. That one I give him, that's not bad for RG. I like that one. But that was on that play, too. Made it so special when he rolled on the guy's back and went for the touchdown against Clemson. But, yeah, that was a nice run by Toafili, and he got a little physical, which you don't see a whole lot from Toafili at the end of the run, get a few extra yards. So they got a 1st and goal right inside the 10. They're doing an interview with Jamie Robinson on the sideline. Oh, they did the box thing again. Good for them.
So I just ran back that play. Are they have they snapped the ball?
Yeah, they snapped it. Mika got a little short route. He picked up about 5 yards. Micah, I keep calling him Mika. Micah got a short pass, picked up about 5 yards. He got very physical, pushed a couple guys forward. So that was a nice play by him. So I believe their 2nd and goal, I'm going to say about the 4-yard line now.
Yeah, I just saw that play. So on the long run, it was Zane Herring and Preston Daniel with good blocks pulling left to right to free up for Toafili there. So good play by those two individuals.
And they had the box thing, and now they're back off the box. I don't understand. This is very frustrating. There's no replays, and we might be, I don't know, just like to see what's setting up, what the personnel is.
Well, Gene, we have to see interviews. Don't you understand? This is the important thing is we have to see somebody holding a microphone and somebody talking into it instead of a football play. We got our priorities in order here.
Yeah. There's still an extended interview. They have, as far as we know, there's a 2nd goal. You want to check the play-by-play, see if we missed a play there, Tom?
There's been a touchdown, Gene. So
there has. They didn't show live TV. Instead, we're seeing Jamie Robinson interviewed on the sideline instead of a touchdown.
Now, unless maybe they call a timeout and I'm just ahead of the game.
Okay, no, well, unless they delayed it. Yeah, they're back now. They've got.
I'm going to guess there's a touchdown here.
Good call, Tom.
And look at that. All right. Sorry about that, everybody. But yeah, Micah Pittman on an end around right to left.
Really nice run again. He get, for his size, man, he's physical.
He plays much bigger than his stature.
I mean, that looked like a running back on that play. I mean, they had him. Didn't look like he was going to score there.
That's all him too. That's CJ Campbell. CJ Campbell staying engaged, making a block downfield. But that's interesting. That's the eye candy. They're pulling the guards and tackles right against the flow of the play that they called. That's nice misdirection, but it's great effort from Pittman and then Campbell on the block with an excellent block down the field as well.
That was a nice drive. So what's the score now? So they kicked the extra point.
They're calling it 17-0. So Warchant calls it 17-7.
Yeah. Come on, defense, pick up the slack. You had the lead, you're letting it get away. So I think people asked about Mike early. He showed out, man. He's legit.
Yep.
He is already, they've got an upgrade there just to see what he can do. Got nice hands. He's getting physical. He's getting some separation out there. Really nice.
Hunter, the answer is a channel called the ACC Network. I don't know that I
may or may not have that, although they're only showing about half the game. But
that's correct. They really want you to see this movie, The Northman. That's what they care about. You really want it's
No, Tom, they want you to see all these interviews on the sideline. We've had, so counting Decker, I think there's been 6 or 7 interviews that extended interviews we've seen now.
Yep.
That they've shown.
Getting close to halftime, Gene. That means we can take a quick break, get a refill, and
Yes.
I've got a pizza getting cold on the front porch.
Yeah, I think I'm going to pop my first one here. Well, my first one. I did have my first one at Hotel Indigo, but I will have my second one. I'll pop it for second half, and we'll see what I'm guessing probably we bring in the third stringers here, just kind of run out the half.
I would think so, or they could just want to work 2-minute. You never know; they might put the ball in a certain spot and say, "Let's work 2-minute drill." Dean, the answer to that is yes. He was spotted in warmups on the ACC network feed. Travis J was in full pads, but he's been banged up during camp. And frankly, even if he was completely healthy, Dean, I think he's buried on the depth chart.
Yeah.
I know you don't want to hear that, but unfortunately, it's just a really athletic build and frame. It hasn't translated to a bunch of football. So that's where he is.
Tom, are you surprised they didn't try to move him to offense or do something else with him? Because, I mean, if you ever saw him play, go back and look at his YouTube videos if you're not familiar, man. He's a physical athletic freak. And I'm always kind of surprised that they did not find a way to utilize him.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say and Trayshawn did have that back shoulder catch too earlier on, Gene. It wasn't a run, but I think you either try that this offseason or I don't know that he's going to be around. And I'm not trying to, read his mind. Maybe he's happy here. Maybe he is. But if you're trying to play, you've got too much of that depth chart to climb on defense. So if he sticks around for the fall, maybe you give it a shot. It's not like you've got a receiver room that's as deep as the defensive back room.
Oh, thank goodness we've got another boy. This girl who's doing the sidelines interviews ought to be getting overtime pay. She's doing more work than the guys in the booth.
Yeah. Yeah,
usually it's another exclusive interview on the sideline for ACC Network.
The sideline reporter typically gets, what do you think, Gene? Like 2 minutes of total time and maybe 15 seconds of FaceTime. And she's on minute like 10 or 12 of her broadcast day, which is good for her. They get
in a half,
in a half. So that's all the cut ups. There you go. Dylan is very corporate too.
Yeah.
he's very polished.
Good for Dylan. So we're back in action here. Minute 20 left in the half. And I didn't see who's a quarterback.
That was Duffy.
Okay, AJ Duffy's back in. And there's usually, when Duffy's been in, there's been a lot of jailbreaks. Mm-hmm. He has not had a whole lot of time to throw the football. And the one time he did, the last series, Mike Norvell was not happy with his play selection.
Yep. Yeah, he didn't see the right thing, according to Norvell. Norvell asked what he saw, didn't like the answer. But Mike has not had a moment like he did last year with Tate. He hasn't had a moment like that with any player that we've seen so far with the bulging eyes. Nothing like that yet.
Oh, another drop. Not the best throw in the world, but
I agree all the way around, Gene. Not a perfect throw, but certainly catchable.
Rodney's got to catch that. I mean, that's a freshman running back, so give him a little bit of a break. It's a little windy out there. Maybe that threw him off.
So we missed it down clearly because I've only seen 2 plays, and they're calling it 4th down.
Yeah.
Gene. So clearly it didn't gain anything because it's fourth
so we didn't miss much. So there's now a minute 12 left. I'm not sure what they're going to do here for this.
Your score is offense 17, defense and special teams 7. I don't care what the graphic says. There has been a blocked kick return for a touchdown by Greedy Vance. The block was by Jared Verse. And Jared Verse has had a day on the stat sheet. I haven't really noticed him all that much, Gene, in terms of explosive plays, but you look at the stat sheet, he's already credited with 2 sacks today in limited action.
Well, Tom, we missed a few plays. There's a couple of those plays that were kind of in the middle. They it's hard to tell when they blow the whistle a lot of times on a quarterback what's going on. But yeah, that's been the story. I'd say the drops have been the stories. Trey Benson, who has we haven't seen him in a while, but he was just been a man among boys, it seems like. And just all around, nothing, a lot of the stuff we've seen in spring so far, some of the guys, Tate's I thought looked pretty good. Jordan's been fine. Other than that, again, we'll forget about that first drill on the 2-minute or the 2-point conversion drill. Outside of that, quarterbacks have been fine.
Yeah, that was awful. Everybody threw a pick. Every quarterback who had a rep.
Every scholarship quarterback.
Scholarly quarterback, yep. Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll get a little Geno English here on this last drive.
You might. I mean, looking at some of the defensive linemen they rolled out there, why not? I've seen some guys, I'm like, who? I mean, I've watched those dudes take reps. I didn't believe they'd get some today, but okay. They're going over their halftime chatter. Looks like Jordan might be interviewed. That's Derek Satterfield, the intrepid SID at Florida State on the screen.
That's good. We need to at least get, 8 interviews a half? I think that's the quota.
Yeah. All on the sideline. Not for the booth.
Gene was interviewed up in the box, so at least they had that one. So Micah again. They are just Micah's going to be leading receiver, which is probably I think this would be indicative, don't you think, during the season if you're putting a bet on who's going to have the most receptions?
Yeah, I think so. And it looks like we might have at least
Player
a
down.
minor injury. That's Hunter Washington.
Hunter.
That play was a rollout right by Tate Rodemaker and a throw to Micah, who, it's a little bubble screen, gained 4 or 5 yards.
I'll take that all day. Like I said, first down, man. Get yourself in second and 6, 2nd and 5 every time.
There were 2 flags on the play. It was consensus.
Hunter's jogging off. He's a little gimpy, but he's coming off the field under his own power, which is good. That's the other thing, spring game. You want to see him get through injury-free if possible.
There are the stats there, the rush yards to pass yards on the lower third.
And I see Travis J. He's walking around. He looks fine on the sideline. But I don't know if he's gonna get on the field today.
Bottom of the screen for the first down play with 1:01 to go. You got a matchup between Micah Pittman and Sam McCall. That's fun.
So do we miss a play? They gave him a first down on that? Oh, there was a penalty.
They assessed the defensive hold there. Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So, by the way, Tate is a quarterback, and they're going to go downfield on this play. He put the ball – he did a long fade route. He put the ball where it needed to be, but there's really good coverage on the play.
A.Z. Thomas, Azarie Thomas on Sam McCall.
Azarie. Corey can't say that name, so I know he just says A.Z., but Azarie. Really nice coverage there.
And phased the whole way, gets his hand up at the right time. It's been a quiet day for Malik McLean, that's for sure. But on that target, good throw by Tate, good play by AZ. That's what you want to see.
That's kind of, yeah, exactly. I was just thinking there's nothing wrong with that play. You like it because the quarterback put the ball where he wanted. You got to, I mean, sometimes the defense makes good coverage, and they were in perfect coverage, but he put the ball in the one place where it could have been caught. So there's a little under a minute left now in the game. And
we've got a disaster again.
And ACC Network missed the play, but there was a long play downfield.
There's a shoe on the field.
Is to
CJ Campbell.
CJ Campbell. I don't know if that was a pass or a run. We don't know.
Looked like there was a bubble on the bottom of the screen.
Yeah, they're going to show them we're getting a replay. It was a run. That's a nice. Found the hole.
Estes and Marquiston. That's important. 85 Marquiston Douglas on the pull there. That's nice. Good job by those two.
So a little 2-minute drill. They're getting down here to CJ again. And, offense is moving the football here a little bit. Second team doing well.
Good, tough running 22. I've been impressed with all the backs this camp.
Now you can see why Corey Wren transferred because there's too many good running backs on this team, and he was not going to. I mean, I like Corey. I think Corey Wren can do some things. He's got that burst downfield, but it's just he was going to be fifth string.
Yep. Every back has been good because DJ Williams has had a good week and a half this last week and a half, and he's on the field right now on 1st and 10. Looks like they ran the clock out. I guess they're going to let them finish this drive. There's no time on the clock officially, though.
Oh,
Tate, you missed him. That's
back of the end zone. He put too much zip on that one. He had him open.
Johnny Wilson would need to be the height of Manute Ball to make a catch there.
That's the route you want to see Johnny Wilson in the back of the end zone. How to step. If the ball's there, he's got a touchdown.
He actually made a catch on a similar – he shed it in the red zone on Amarian Cooper on Thursday. It was great individual play. That's a terrible throw. Come on, Tate. Got to be better.
In this practice, if you're getting a catch on Cooper, you're doing something right because he does not give up much.
3rd and 2.
See if the offense can get on the board here and Tate can get something. There we go. We got another touchdown.
Yep.
You just mentioned DJ. I talked about the running back depth. There's a guy that's probably your 4th string.
That was out the gate, Gene. From the word go, that was out leveraged. I mean, you could see it the way they pulled. There was nobody there.
There's that right side again. I mean, they've opened a couple nice holes there. Look at the pull there. Look at that. Who's that? Who made that pull play there? That was really nice.
Was that 77? I got lost.
80. It was 80 somebody. It was a big dude. Couldn't tell it was an offensive lineman. He pulled to the right and just knocked the hell out of somebody.
I was looking at the linebackers. They got lost there completely. It was 85 Marquiston. That's the second.
Marquiston again.
Yep. Good job, Marquiston.
Maybe the tight ends can't catch, but boy, if we can get one that can block, that'd be something.
Right. Well, Jordan Wilson got better at that as the year went on. He was terrible the first half of last season, Gene, but Jordan Wilson was a really important player by the end of the year, and that's a role that there's no apparent person to fill it. But Marquiston, good job, starting to enter his name into the discussion. That's good.
Well, it's funny. I'm sorry, I forget the young man's name. We had a long talk about the running game. He said over under for 50 yards rushing in the spring game. I'm like, dude, they're going way over. This team can run the ball pretty well. And look at these halftime numbers, Jeff. 227 rushing yards at the half. Now, people are not going to be impressed by the quarterback numbers, and I think part of that is the win, and part of that is the drops. And they've been fine. I don't think they've been horrible. They've been great. But I mean, really impressed by the running game.
There's your 227. Yeah, that's that'll work, Gene. The average is at 5 a carry. That will also work. That's not fluky. That didn't look like spring game touch football stuff either. That looked like legitimate running, hard running downhill. And then there are your quarterback stats. So Travis should have, what do you think, 9 completions maybe
9,
10?
and Tate had 1 drop. So at least, yeah. He should probably be, 9 for, 100 yards.
Yep.
9 out of 13, 100 yards or so. And Tate
and
probably.
He should have a touchdown. He missed Johnny Wilson in the back of the end zone.
Well, that's on him, though. But he also had a drop. So he probably had about 50 yards.
Yep. And then there you go. Micah with 4 targets, or 5 targets, 4 catches for 25 yards.
Yeah. Micah has looked. He's one receiver. I don't know if anybody else, other than Portier having that nice back shoulder catch. That's kind of been it for the receivers. Nobody else has really stood out.
Correct. There was a good back shoulder catch for Trayshawn Ward, but again,
that's true.
He's not a receiver. He's not a receiver. So there you go. There's your leading tackler.
There you go.
I guess. McCall with 5, Gaynor with 5. Let's look at the sacks and TFL numbers. So Shaheem on an edge pressure with a good play. That was I think it was goal to go. Quayshawn Fuller with a blow by. That was on Daughtry Richardson. Good play. Jared Verse with 2 sacks.
Now, have we seen much of Jared Verse after those first couple series?
Nope.
I think, this is kind of like what we saw last year a little bit with Johnson at times. So they would take him out to let the offense operate, because I have a feeling there'd be a lot fewer plays getting off if Verse was out there every play.
Correct. Ditto for the interior of the defensive line with Fabian Lovett and Robert Cooper.
And I don't think PFF does spring games. It's unfortunate, because I'd like to see the snap counts.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I think you're going to see Cooper. You're going to see a lot of these guys get handful of dozen snaps maybe in the spring game, where normally in a game they're going to get a lot more.
That's a good question, Eric. I know he will in the fall, but Gene, is Terry screening?
Yes.
He is? Okay.
Terry will be screening. We got the post-game show, which will take about 10 minutes after the spring game is complete, and Terry will be here screening calls. So Eric, hopefully you call in. So yeah, Terry will be back for that. I talked to him yesterday. He will be coming on, taking your calls.
What's going on now, Gene? Is this like some sort of
showing highlights? It looks like
take a break, or
I think we can take a break here. We went through the stats. I don't know if he's got a big question or two here, but why don't we go ahead and take it? Well, it doesn't look like they've gone. What are they doing here?
Mike was on the field with some players. I don't know if this is flag football time or like I didn't hear about an alumni game this year, though. I don't know that
they're still showing Toafili out there. I don't know. Are they doing? Looks like they're going to do some kick returns, is my guess, before halftime.
Yeah, you got a mixed group out there. There's Travis J again. So it looks like some special team stuff. We could take this opportunity to take a couple minutes, Gene, and put up, some other
poor Tom's got a cold pizza there. So let's Tom get his
I need dinner.
Get his dinner. I'm going to go get a snack and pop a beer.
All right.
And I don't know if you want to put up the stats, or what do you want to have. So we'll be back.
I can put up a video with the interview from Rising Spear. I've got a video in the queue.
Yeah.
So I can put up. This is Wake Up Warchant's interview. It's a snippet of it, about 3 minutes.
Before we do that real quick, because I know people are tuning into this and we appreciate it. Hit the thumbs up. But yeah, Tatum Bethune, we've heard, is in a boot. Nothing serious. We all believe. So he's not playing today. He's out. But he should be back in a few weeks. So he should be good to go.
3 minutes and change before we're back. If anything crazy happens, let us know in the comments section. You're watching. Yeah. Thankfully, everybody that you're here, we're happy that you're here. The Warchant Watch Along will be right back in just a moment. It's time for a refill.
Bob, everybody wants to, chip in as much as they possibly can. And there's such a huge push on the website over on warchant.com for people to become involved as boosters. And sometimes we might not see the numbers that we want to see on the booster side of things. Is there anything you guys think that might be able to resonate better with fans? And do fans have to choose between two sides? And I guess how will that all kind of factor out, do you think, as we get maybe some more clarity with what NIL can ultimately be for programs?
Yeah, I don't think they have to choose a side. I know that the boosters and the athletic department are well aware that if Rising Spear does well and we start bringing the classes back in that we're used to having, that athletics, the football program, and other athletic teams are going to do better as well. So they're totally in support of us. I've talked to Michael Alford several times, as past chair of the boosters. And I said, we're going to be competing with the same people for the same dollars. And he said, go for it. You guys do well, we'll do well. So we're not going to hold you back, and we're not going to compete with you. We're going to possibly even ask our booster organization to members to give you something as well on top of what they're giving us. So,
Bob, what are, I know we talked, I think it was back before signing day. It was a while ago. It was 3 or 4 months ago, about the plan and what Rising Spear was and was going to be what are some of the for people that want to give money? What are some of the avenues they can do it? Number one, I assume the website will be the main way, but also what do they get to pick who it goes to, what sport it goes to? Are there ways and avenues for that to happen?
Yeah, Corey, there are. First of all, we're different than most every other NIL organization. As we talked before, we have Rising Spirit Gold and Rising Spirit Garnet. Gold is the typical NIL. The student athletes get endorsement deals, they get social media postings, they get appearance fees. There's a contract between a company and a student athlete to do something. People can give to that. They can say, I want to get involved in Rising Spirit Gold and I want it to be for football. They will be able to specify that on the website. If they want to give it to one of the girls' teams, I mean, anything that they want to do with that money, they can designate it and restrict it. Now, the other side is where other organizations don't have, and that's Rising Spirit Garnet. And that's going to be, the process is in the works, a 501c nonprofit organization. People can give to that, get a tax deduction. They can also restrict it to a sport. But what we do with that, you've seen it. You all have covered. We've sent 7 or 8 athletes at a time out to the Boys and Girls Clubs to play with the kids, to talk to them about drugs, to how important school is and making the right decisions and standing up to their peers about doing what's right. And we had the cheerleaders out, 3 cheerleaders go out and work with the girls at the Boys and Girls Clubs. And, that's giving back to the community. We're serving the underserved population. I think I told you then, Corey, it's a 3-way win. The donor, the person that gives the money to Rising Spirit gets a tax deduction. The student athletes get some compensation for getting out and doing things, but the community wins because we've got those kids out there helping nonprofit organizations with fundraising projects or just working with the kids. And that's, nobody else is doing that. It's unique.
Welcome back, everybody. This is the Warchant Watch Along. Gene will be back in just a moment. I just crushed a slice and a half of pizza. I won't tell you who brought it because they don't advertise with us right now, but I just crushed a slice and a half of pizza in about a minute and a half. Cheers to everybody who is watching whatever drills they're going through right now. It's time to switch to a little bit of an import going with the Corona. I see you all out there in the comments section. Oh, that was spicy. I shouldn't have ordered the jalapenos on there, but see you all there in the comment section. Ryan, with your comment there, I totally agree. Could not agree more. Gene, don't take your time. We're good. That Louisville is a must-win. That's the game. We all want to win the LSU game. You're gonna beat Duquesne, and I understand people, hitting the brakes and saying, "Well, what about Jacksonville State? This is a totally different animal." You're gonna beat Duquesne. Let me unmute you, Gene. Sorry, that's my fault. I did that just to protect you in case we're gonna scream F-bomb in the background.
Another freaking interview, really?
Yeah,
this is when you do them. It's halftime. I'm okay with it now.
That's we saw it, with SID next to the quarterback. That means he's about to get the call. I made the mistake of ordering jalapenos on my pizza, Gene. It's a little spicy right now in the in the Lang office. But Ryan is totally right. I feel like that's the game this season that can kind of swing it one way or the other because you could be as good as 3-0, but you could be at least 2-1 with one win in the ACC after a win on the road at Louisville, or you could be looking up from the bottom of the ACC Atlantic standings again.
Let me see if I can pull up the schedule. Or you want to do that, Tom? Want me to pull up the schedule? You want to do it?
If you've got it handy, go for it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you start out Duquesne, and then it's the Sunday night in Louisville. Then you get the bye week, so you have extra time to prepare for Louisville, LSU, and obviously being that Sunday night. So you don't play a game for whatever that is, 12 days, 11 days. I mean, that's a huge opportunity to go on the road, make a statement, and say that even though Malik Cunningham's been there for 12 years, that you've made progress as a program.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and
there it is, the old warchant.com. People haven't looked there yet, and they've learned about us on YouTube. We've got a whole website, everybody, and it's got a lot of good stuff on it at warchant.com.
So, yeah, I love we're getting a little Clareton ad there on the left, but sorry about that. I can't get that out of there. But, yeah, so, yeah, like you said, man, you got that Duquesne. That's a win. So, yeah, the LSU, and I know a lot of people – are they actually back doing stuff?
No. You're
Is
talking
this-
about on the game right now? No,
Yeah.
it's still an interview. They're just kind of standing around doing much of nothing.
Oh, I saw the shot of the field. It looked like they were setting up against. It's very hard to follow ACC Network. So, but yeah, that bye week. So that's interesting too. So whether you're 2-0 or 1-1, either way, that's a huge game because if you win that, you're 3-0. You're coming home against Boston College. You got 2 home games in a row that are winnable. So I mean, you could be really off to the races early in the season. But if you're 1-1, that becomes a must-win because you can't go 1-2. I mean, they're showing.
Yeah, I mean, if you want people to be there for Boston College at Doak Campbell, you better beat Louisville, or else it's going to look like it does right now.
Yeah, if you're 1-2, they go, here we go again.
Yeah, there's your noon kickoff with RG3, and you're riding with us on the Warchant Watch Along. Here we go. They're back on the field. So for me, Gene, I just saw a snap, and they went to a commercial again.
Yeah, so we don't know what's going on. So they showed one shot from above. It looked like they were setting up, and then they showed a side shot of it looked like they were playing, and then they went to commercial. So you want to check out Old Step? Let me get this off of there.
God.
We're not sure if they're playing or not. We thought they were at halftime. They did some kickoff drills, which I saw Travis J. I don't know if you caught that. He was doing some kick returns.
Mm-hmm.
So He did have him out there. We have not seen him on defense because he's got his leg in a pretty significant brace. But we've not seen him on defense, but he was doing special teams drills.
They haven't even updated it in the play-by-play. This is where the structure of a real season, you can't do this nonsense. So we'll at least, even if they went to commercial break, a play would happen. But
they might be doing some kind of, we don't know. They might be doing some situational drills or something right now. We're not sure. The halftime, the clock ran out for halftime. They did some kickoff drills, but we're not sure what they're doing now. And Stat Broadcast is acting like it's still halftime, right?
Well, here's what it's doing now. Okay. A touchdown, apparently.
Well, never mind.
From
Portier, Rodemaker, Tate.
I mean, that's a legit connection. They're saying
and we're not. ACC Network is showing nothing right now. They've got a Subway commercial going on right now.
So I don't know. It looked like they were starting on their own 11, Gene, but it says the drive was 6 plays, 50 yards. They don't know what's going on. There was a PAT for whatever the hell just happened. So good job, Tate. You know, the world doesn't get to see
Tate to Portier, and you said that's his guy, right?
It is 100%.
Portier, but that's amazing. The hookup those two guys have.
Yes, that shoulder throw that it was in the first half that occurred on the screen for everybody to see. I've seen that in practice 3 or 4 times at least with those two players. So that's good to see. But apparently Tate did something else that was positive. Anybody watching from inside the stadium, go ahead.
Go back on, and they're showing Mike Norvell is very happy. He was hugging Danny Cannell. So I don't know if Cannell made that call or something. Maybe Cannell made calls on that play. I don't know. Or that series. We don't know. Where they're finally back. We missed basically an entire series because of commercials on the ACC Network. But EJ Manuel's happy. He's talking to Danny Cannell. They're having the celebrity players, coaches are having a great time on the sideline, it looks like. And now we're getting another, thank goodness for a sideline interview.
Okay, so Philip, if you're trolling, this is next level trolling. But yeah, Tate just threw a touchdown to Portier, and he says, "Nice rollout, throw on a dime." Okay, all right.
Maybe Philip's at the game.
Now, Philip, if you're just playing, here's what I think happened. We're going with it. We agree. Whatever. Sounds good. We believe you.
I'm more with Briley here. Yeah.
You see this? Look at this. According to ACC Network, Fabian's 5'9", 193. I think they.
That's right. Oh my God, they have that shot up 5'9", 193.
So they confused their zeros. That no doubt is Ja'Kai Douglas numbers. That's so the intern.
And he also runs a 4.4. So yeah, there's that.
There you go. Oh man.
Oh, what a train wreck for ACC Network! Wow, it all happened after you complimented them, Tom.
I should never have. The ball's on the 50. The ball's on the 50.
Is there a clock anywhere? Do we even know? Is this the third? Did they just not have a halftime?
Yeah, they may be doing running clock or something. Like the official box score has 10 minutes to go on the clock. I don't know. The clock's not even running. So
I think
they do have.
Go ahead. Sorry, was that Duffy back out at quarterback?
It was.
Of course, they're spending time showing celebrity coaches, player in the sidelines, interviews. We're hardly getting any shots of what's actually happening on the field, so it's very difficult.
Yeah, that was Duffy to C.J. Campbell, incomplete. Oh, my God, you've got to be kidding me. They were just about to run a play.
The bot is back again.
So, Gene, they're about to snap the ball, and they've cut to a montage of some of the plays that defense has made.
Oh, my God. Oh, boy. So at least, everybody, you're commiserating with us. We've got a lot of people watching along with us. Thank you for joining this watch along. This is kind of a new concept. This is fun. Tom and I are having a good time doing this. We're laughing at the ACC Network's coverage.
And
this is, if anything else, is why you have to go to the games, because you're not going to get to see much watching ACC Network. So they're back on the field now with Duffy, so maybe we'll get to actually see a play.
We do. He's throwing off his back foot. Oh, that's play-by-play. I shouldn't do that.
Yep.
That
was a breakup, but it wasn't a.
That should have been an INT for Sam McCall there, I think, but he didn't come down with it. So another drop. But that was a desperation throw from Duffy. I'm guessing that was 3rd and long, just judging by everybody trotting off the field. And it was off his back foot. So that's what we got right now. The second half, quote unquote, I'm sure is going to be different. I remember it being different last year, not just because of celebrities calling or whatever the plays, but it was shortened, and I believe it was a running clock. But we now no longer have a graphic, so who the hell knows?
We don't have a clock. We're not getting. We have not seen the replay of I think one of our users said Tate on a rollout. I mean, we know Tate threw a touchdown to Portier.
I think he was imagining it too, Gene, because I think he said he's watching from Okinawa. So he's out in Japan just making stuff
He's got a special feed out there. Maybe the international feed is different.
The AFN feed. There you go. Now it says 5 minutes on the clock on the FSU play-by-play. So we'll go
5 minutes left in the half or third quarter?
In the third quarter.
Okay, so it must have basically a running clock. Must be what they're doing here. I think we're due for another sideline interview. I haven't seen one in 5 minutes.
You're damn right. And if they don't, then they're not doing their job. Oh, Philip is at the game. Okay, all right. So, Philip, you're being honest with us that it's the rollout.
Thank you, Philip.
Right. Thank you very much. We appreciate your perspective. Thank you.
Yep. Yeah. And, Philip, anything else that we missed, because you're lucky you're at the game, Philip, because you're not getting to see much if you're watching it on ACC Network. All right, we are back.
It's another drive started at the 50-yard line. That was Rodney Hill on the carry.
Mm-hmm. Not much on the first play.
Couple few yards, depending upon the spot.
So the rate this is going, Tom, if we're almost done the third quarter, they're probably going to be, it's probably
going to fire up that post-game show soon.
Probably done about, 20, 30 minutes. This game will probably be over.
We are nearly at 7 o'clock, and practices, everybody, roll about 2.5 hours. So this is about right.
Yeah. So, 7:30, worst case. Oh, so we got the running game is continuing to click, Tom.
Yep. These are backups.
Another Rodney Hill, big run right up the gut.
A lot of backups on the field, but that doesn't matter. When you're a true freshman like Rodney Hill, every play is real, especially when you're
going to remember this.
That. Yeah, good play. Thank you to everybody who has joined this broadcast and doesn't get the context of what's going on. Gino English action on the field right now for Florida State.
Yep.
But this is a Warchant watch-along in which we're commenting on what we see. The ACC Network is giving us about 60% of the picture as to what's going on, but we're commenting on what we see, and we're just enjoying it. We're kicking back and relaxing, so if you don't mind throwing us a like underneath this video, it helps us find more FSU fans. We're going to be here after the game as well for a post-game call-in reaction show. Gene and I will react to as much as we've seen, but we haven't seen it all, so that's for sure. Maybe Philip could call in and give us a clue or two.
Yeah, Gator Kirk probably has the code to be able to log in before we log in.
Yeah,
did we get in that call queue? But we had a play there by DJ Campbell, had another nice little catch and run. I don't know, for 15, 20 yards from Gino English. They said, that's good. They said Leroy Smith may be on the sideline. That's good. Didn't spot him, but if someone saw that, good to see him back.
I saw number 36 on the football field, Omar Graham, who looks like another player. He's not going to be a starting linebacker this fall for Florida State, but another true freshman who's an early enrollee. He's had some good moments. That was a good get for this staff. So, Gino English is celebrating. So you have got.
I guess maybe Gino threw a touchdown, but we don't know. We didn't see it, of course.
He did.
It's the commercial. Oh, God. Are you kidding me?
So it was a scramble, apparently. Gino English 10-yard run for a touchdown. So.
Okay.
Good for Gino. Your big moment never happened on the ACC Network, so hopefully somebody recorded that in the stands for you so you can always remember a rushing touchdown.
Yeah, Philip said he ran it in. Thank you, Philip. We got somebody on site there telling us what happened. Good. I think they knew we're doing the watch-along, Tom, so screw those guys. We're not going to let them know what's happening.
Great strategy, guys. Let's see how it works out for you. Well, since they don't care to give us an update on Diddley, let me take a look at the Masters scoreboard.
Yeah, I'm surprised we haven't a Masters check-in yet, Tom. What's going on? You're slacking.
I've watched little to none this week. Tomorrow I will, though. Scotty Scheffler is in the lead at 9 under. He's on the 17th hole right now. He's 3 shots clear of
How
Cam
about
Smith.
Smith? Cam is like,
Yep. So you've got 2 forces that are playing really, really, really well right now, if I could say that correctly, because Cam won the Players, and then Scotty's won 3 of his last 4 or 5 events, and he's number 1 in the world right now. So those 2 guys are going to be paired up together, barring some miracle.
yeah.
A hole out on 18 or something along those lines. That's going to be your final pairing tomorrow at the Masters, is Scotty Scheffler and Cam Smith. Sungjae Im at 4 under. That's the last of the golf. I'll give you.
Yeah. So I haven't seen it. I assume Berger is he faded? I haven't seen anything from him.
Probably so. I haven't even heard anything. I'm seeing, Gene, that there was an AJ Duffy rush for a -10 yards on the play-by-play.
So that probably we're another Subway commercial. So
yeah, it's saying 2nd and 20 on the 40. Philip, go ahead and since you're
what's going on, Philip? Should I just FaceTime you guys live? Yeah,
probably. Yeah. Well, you're smart, Philip. Yeah. If we could have broadcast live from the stadium, we would have, but we're not allowed to. So.
Yeah, we can't do that.
Now, Jermaine Johnson deserves an interview.
Another interview. But at this point, Jermaine Johnson, glad to see him back in Tallahassee.
Boy, for somebody who was only here for like 7 months or 8 months of their life, I mean, he cares deeply about this program, and that's awesome.
So great to see. And Tom, weren't you shocked? Because we got to see him all year. You got to see him practice, interact with everybody, and what a professional he was. When the initial mock drafts came out after the season, he wasn't a first rounder. You kind of like,
yeah,
what am I missing here? Yeah. I mean, what does the guy have to do? He's got all the tools to be an elite NFL defensive end. Like, why is he not a first rounder? And not until the Senior Bowl practices when he blew up, suddenly, let's start putting him in some mock drafts. Now you're seeing him maybe even in the top 10 in some of the mocks that have come up.
So, Philip, you are faster than the official scoring that's going on right now. He did have a 10-yard positive run. They just changed that. On the
so Stat Broadcasting got that wrong. Thank you, Philip.
Yep. So they cleaned that up. And then there was like a play. We saw C.J. Campbell, and then, it looks like it was a gain of 1, be my guess, because that looks like a 9 yards to gain on this play. A.J. Duffy and a quarterback for FSU.
Yep. And we got some pressure there by 93. Is he on the roster? He must be a walk-on.
By definition, yes.
Yeah.
That is Malachi Menzer.
Malachi, all right.
Good moment for you, Malachi.
Yep.
The interviews continue.
Yes. I want to go back. If somebody could time this out, go back. Had there been more interviews on the screen than the game?
Oh, that's an easy answer. Yes, easily.
That's easy. Have you ever seen it? I know it's a spring game. I get it. So it's not the same. But have you ever seen anything like this in a spring game? The amount of time they've completely ignored the game?
Oh, you got to be kidding me. Is that right, Philip? Philip is reporting breaking news that the game is over. And it looks like that is indeed true because Mike Norvell is blowing.
No more interviews. You've interviewed everybody on the team. We're done.
So that second half was more like a second 10%. That went little to no time. So the first half is what you got. There were some great runs by Trey Benson.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to tell you the score. I'm not going to try and keep it. The defense the special teams, I should say, did score 7 on a block kick by Jared Verse that landed in the lap of Greedy Vance. But the number 1 star on offense today, Gene, they do this in hockey. 3 stars of the game. So if you're going to give out the number 1 star on offense, would it be Trey Benson? It's got to be, right?
It's Trey Benson. It's not close, man. He looked like a man among boys, and I got to say, he's going in, man. I think he might be your starting running back. I think he has to be because he gives you that something nobody else has. The combination of what he has, that size, that speed, and it's not just a big fast guy. We saw him make some cuts. That's second level, Tom.
Yeah. Yes. He's able to manipulate defenders and set up his runs, and he's got the power to run over you. He's got the speed to run by you. It's a good get. It was a risk. It was based upon, can he heal all the way? You got to trust whatever the medical evaluations are, but good job, Mike Norvell. That is a legacy of him recruiting well at Memphis. Trey Benson turned him down to go play at Oregon, which is better, obviously, Power 5 over Group of 5. But on today, the day that Gene Deckerhoff retires as the play-by-play voice of the Noles, it was a bit of a cluster. Not for number 12 in white, though. Trey Benson had a really good day.
We want to put up the stats here before we go on our little break before the post game.
I guess, we'll take another one. I can mash another slice or two.
Let's do a quick. So play the quarterbacks, and it's going to be a talk. And it's really it obviously the emphasis was on the run today. There wasn't a whole lot of passing plays. Part of that we'll see Mike Norvell in the post game. We'll have that up on Warchant TV too. You can watch. I wonder I'm sure that was by design, and whether it was because of the conditions of the wind or he just wanted to get more of a look at the running game, we don't know. So very pedestrian numbers by the quarterbacks, as you can see, but there were a good number of drops, 4 or 5 drops during the game. So the numbers are down a little bit lower than they should have been. But I don't think any of them were bad. None of the quarterbacks looked bad. They were okay. I'd give them an okay mark, C+.
The only bad, Gene, was the 2-point conversion drills. That's it.
Yes.
Yeah, that was bad. Legit. That was legit not good at all. But then beyond that, they've already pivoted to the NC State spring game. My God.
Yeah. They're out of there.
And it's gone. But outside of that, there wasn't a whole lot of bad. I mean, Tate had some good throws. Phillip reported that there was a good rollout throw to his right to Kentron. There was also a great back shoulder to Kentron. It's a big day for Tate Rodemaker. He finishes officially 5 of 11 with a touchdown. He missed Johnny Wilson in the back of the end zone. That's all on 18. He threw it about 8 feet in the air when it needed to be 6.5 feet in the air. But it's another day for the defense, I think. Cooper and Lovett, I'd set their over-under on the reps that we saw them out there for at like 6. I don't even know.
Yeah, and they were when they were out there, you knew they were out there. They made their presence felt. They were great. But again, again, those guys are so important to your defense. I'm fine giving those young guys some reps because that's a position, Tom. They're not going to play 70 reps a game. Yes. They can't play that. So you've got to get these young guys some reps. They got to at least be serviceable when they get into the season so they can be fresh. So, I mean, on defense, there's so many different guys out there. So I don't know who I would say was necessarily that when Jaden Floyd is your leading tackler.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jared Verse credited with 2 sacks. We didn't see him.
I'd give his over under at under 12, probably snaps in the game.
Yeah. And he had that. Now it was a complete miscommunication by the right side of the offensive line on the kick that he blocked. It's just a blow by. It wasn't anything like, he didn't, leap through somebody. It was a miscommunication by the blockers, but he got through it. He blocked a 50-yard field goal attempt that was returned for a score by Greedy Vance. Gene, one of the plays that stands out to me, and there weren't a ton on defense, but Azarie Thomas against Malik McLean, one-on-one down the right sideline. Excellent coverage and a good throw by Tate Rodemaker was well defended. That's the kind of flash that we've seen from 20 throughout camp. So, in limited reps for him, he stood out. I thought he had a good day.
Yeah, he did. Really, the whole secondary. That's one of the things we've noticed. They've been very active. The coverage has been tight. They didn't get their hands on the ball. We saw that again across the board. Sam McCall had some nice coverage on some plays. You saw several guys out there I thought were pretty solid in coverage. You didn't see a whole lot of separation. So very solid day by the secondary. Really in the defense on the whole, I thought played pretty well. So it was, but on the whole, it was probably a pretty even matchup. They did give up some runs, but again, Tatum Bethune's not out there. It was a lot against second and third teamers, a lot of those runs. So take it with a grain of salt.
It was a mixed bag, but I saw out of the running game, and I think what we're going to do here, Gene, is probably, give our thoughts on the game, then take the break and open up the phone lines. We'll have your thoughts, and we'll have the phone number on the bottom of the screen after the break, but we don't want you lighting up the phone lines just yet because probably another 10, 15 minutes before we go to those phones. But I expected to see, Gene, that the running game would have explosive plays. That's just what happens. Aslan and I talked about this today in the pregame show at Hotel Indigo, which is if you look at the PFF grades, the run blocking's terrible. It's week to week, but the run game grade for productivity is through the roof. So how does that happen that you're not good at blocking for the run and yet your running production is that in between is the ingenuity of what Mike Norvell and Alex Atkins do to devise explosive plays in the run game. And they did it a bunch today. A lot of perimeter runs, a lot of runs with the pin and pull, but they did some good things in the perimeter too, just in general. Lawrence Toafili had a couple of nice runs.
Yeah. And he showed me something he didn't do a lot last year, and he got physical because we all remember the Jacksonville State game when he danced on the backfield and just had some really bad moments. Looked like he lost a lot of confidence last year, and his playing time went down. He started seeing the football less, but he looked much more confident out there. He got much more physical. So that was really good to see. So, I'm impressed by the running back core as a whole. And I wondered going in, losing Jayshon Corbin, would we see a drop off? And I'm not guaranteeing it's going to be as good or not better, but from what we've seen this spring, what we saw today, I'm pretty confident they've got a nice stable of running backs.
They do. And today I felt like last year's spring game, Gene, and that was almost like a coming out party from COVID. Remember, it felt so good to be amongst friends, and we were down there in the College Town area. I felt like there was a lot more to chew on offensively, and it wasn't just because there was a quarterback battle between Mackenzie Milton and Jordan Travis, because both played well, both had their moments in that game. But there were just a lot more plays that you could circle. I remember Kevin Noles making an awesome tackle in the flat in space, and as a true freshman, he said, "Ooh, that's going to work. That's different." There were a few things today that I liked, like for example, Kevin Knowles jumping Pokey Wilson on a slant route. I think it was goal to go, picking off Tate Rodemaker. That was a hell of a play. And then, or Sam McCall picked him off, rather. That was an interception on Jordan. But then Sam McCall, his first play in the jersey, officially speaking in a scrimmage, has an interception in 2-point conversion drills. That was a throw to Toa Feely. It was an angle route out of the backfield that Sam McCall diagnosed, got downhill, and made a play. You know, they've already proven, Gene, the coaching staff has, that true freshmen can be developed and play immediately at defensive back.
Oh, yeah.
With McCall and Thomas, you're working with a lot of talent to mold over the summer, because they're all.
Yeah, I mean, we saw with Cooper last year. I mean, by the end of the year, man, he was just regular out there.
And he wasn't an early enrollee. He got here in the summer,
Yeah.
which is even more impressive. So, you know, if you're looking for somebody to take on that second corner spot, you've got some young kids that are candidates. Renardo Green, didn't see a whole lot of him today, but he's another candidate. They've got some options, and that's where things, to me, looked a little bit brighter. But on the offensive side, it was uneven at best in the passing game. Uneven at best. The running game was the story.
Yeah. Well, Brian, thank you. That's old school, going back to last year.
Brian, so Brian clearly is only here for the post game. He wasn't here for the watch along, which was interesting, Brian, because I'd say ACC Network covered maybe 75% of the plays, 80% of the plays that were on the field. I think that's a fair number. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's about right. They definitely covered all the interviews.
Yeah.
Like I said, I hope that the sideline reporter got time for paid per interview, because then she's rolling the cash right now.
Yeah,
that was
I think
impressive.
One thing that is appropriate right now, Gene, is to offer a toast up to Gene Deckerhoff, because he has completed his final game as the play-by-play voice of FSU football, and that is a somber moment. But cheers to an amazing career, Gene Deckerhoff.
I'm glad you did that, Tom, man. And Gene, I love, and it's the thing. As good a professional he is, and he's fantastic. He's one of the best there's ever been. He's the voice. He'll only be the voice for Florida State. But if you ever met him in person, he's also just a wonderful human being. Always takes time to, very Bobby Bowden-esque in terms of his time with people and how gregarious he is. He's so much fun. Great guy to have a drink with. So, yeah, Gene, absolutely. This is for you.
Yeah, he wouldn't turn down a beer if you wanted to get him one. So cheers to Gene. One of my favorite Gene Deckerhoff moments, and we'll take a break in a second to set up the phone lines, but this is a coach's call-in show circa 11, Gene, is for the Oklahoma game. There's an Oklahoma caller that asks Jimbo what the best watering holes are in Tallahassee, and Jim was like, I don't know water. You can ask Gene. Gene knows all about that stuff. And he got nervous. He was like, well, I don't know. It was an excellently awkward but human moment. On the screen. Jim was like, I don't go to watering holes. Gene knows about them. So, but that's Gene was the life of more than one or two conversations, but for all of us, we all have great Gene Deckerhoff stories. So.
Yeah. He's a man. Yeah. Thank you, Gene, for all your hard work. At least you're, man, I look forward to hearing you in the box, but we're going to miss you at Florida State. I've had some, we did a show earlier, Tom. We kind of shared a lot of our Gene memories, but I'll just remember, because you got to remember back, old people like us, the games weren't always on TV. So you had to listen to some of them on the radio. Mm-hmm. And that was the best. We were so fortunate to be able to have Gene and people like the late, great Vic Prinzi and people alongside of him. Peter Tom has some really good co-hosts over the years. And I just remember, being in law school a couple times and not being able to see a game on TV and listening to Gene. It was fantastic. He did such a good job of making you feel like you were there along with him. So thank you, Gene, for all your hard work. You will be sorely missed.
There is no doubt. And I'm glad I can report just from, doing some digging. There's nothing emergency wise. It was time. He was traveling way too damn much. So if anybody's earned it, Gene Deckerhoff certainly has. Any other thoughts, Gene, before we sign off and fire up the phone lines? Everything is continuing right here. You don't have to leave this.
Yeah. Stay here. We're taking a short break. I know we got over 400 people now tuned in, want to hear about the spring game. We're going to break it down. We're going to take your phone calls. We can take your comments on social media. And a lot of people are giving their 2 cents. A lot of people are very happy with the ACC network. So that's good to know. They're encouraging you. I'm curious. I will have to check. Have we checked in? Are we going to get Corey or Ira or someone to chime in? Are they?
That is the plan.
I'm curious what I did. I want to know what the attendance was like, because it looked like it might be a little low from what we maybe hoped for.
Yeah, that looks
So
maybe
I'm
like
gonna ask them.
25,000, 25 at most. That's what
They
that
were
looks
hoping for that. I don't even know if they cracked 20, Tom, legitimately. Well, you never know what they will announce, but we'll get an honest appraisal of that as well. But they encourage you to definitely go to the game because you don't want to watch it on ACC Network.
It was crazy, Gene. I mean, that game, we'll take a break here in just a second, but the once they got through the drills to start the day with 2-point conversions and the special team stuff, which we did not know was coming, and that was kind of a buzzkill. The 30 minutes in the first half was kind of like a legitimate scrimmage. And then after that, it was just nothing. It was like I think Danny Cannell and EJ may have called like 2 plays. That's pretty much it. So it came to a very, very quick end. The official score, according to Florida State, is offense 38, defense 0. You got to get 7 points to the defense, but that matters not at all. What matters is the phone lines will be fired up in short order. Stick with us about 5 minutes. We're going to play Warchant content, so you're not going to have nothing while you're waiting, but we're going to play a clip from Sunday Smash and also from Seminole Headlines as well.
Yep, Tom and I will be back in a minute. Stay tuned, and we will take your calls. We got to hopefully, I assume Gator Kirk on the line. We got Eric Angel has to call us up. I mean, he's been active. He's been with us the whole time.
I would think so too. I wonder if any of those commenters who are jumping off a cliff are going to call. We'll see. Coming up next on the Warchant Postgame show, we're pivoting. Watch along the postgame coming up in just a moment. I think that Adam Fuller said yesterday in his press conference, Ira, that it kind of struck me because it's almost like an omission. You're telling us something, but you're omitting something. And the comment was, it was speaking about how players are willing to be coached on the defensive side of the ball. And I think he was just coming off of a comment about Akeem Dent's 2 interceptions in the scrimmage. But he said, the players are willing to be coached right now. And to me, what I've seen so far, and I've been looking at the trenches a lot, that defense is starting to develop a snarl to it. Like a real snarl. They've got guys who are willing to talk a little bit after the play is over. On the defensive line, Jared Verse is not afraid. McClendon's not afraid. I noticed there was an interior defensive lineman this week after a 3-and-out for the offense. He waved goodbye to the offense as they ran off the field. There's a little bit of swagger building for this defense, and it probably is coming through the confidence and continuity of coaching and philosophy. But, we've struggled for so long to identify what is Florida State's defense because it was just bad at a lot of things. But it seems like they're starting to develop a personality to them, and it's not a nice one to play against, which should excite Florida State fans.
Yeah, and again, I mean, I think, defensive football, and we've talked about this a lot over the last few years, especially when the team has not been playing well. So much of defensive football is trust, and trust in the coaching staff to the point you just made, to believe if I do my job, if I do what I'm asked to do, and Adam Fuller said it, I think, a couple times during that press conference with referring to Akeem Dent, he's doing what we're asking him to do. And surprisingly enough, that's resulting in good results because it has to be 11 parts working together. Offense, you can sometimes have big plays when just 1 or 2 guys make a big play. But defense, it has to be all 11 guys doing their job and trusting each other. And sometimes it's not, Mike Norvell made that comment a few times last season where he made the comment with the best of intentions, like when they lost at Wake Forest or when they lost a couple of games last season. We're making mistakes with the best of intentions. What he means is guys are trying too hard to make a play that's not their play to make. They're not trusting the guy next to them. They're not trusting the guy behind them. I think what you're seeing in practice now is year 3 in the system. They had some success last season, and you got some mature guys. You brought in some guys who are winners, from other programs that have the right mindset. And I think you're seeing guys play as a unit, 11 guys working together. And I think it's a big difference, man. Sometimes you see defenses in college football that aren't all first-round picks, but play really well and play hard together, and they have success. That's where I think they're getting closer to. It's what it looks like to me.
Did you miss us? We're back. Oh, I'm not the guy on the right. I'm the guy on the left.
Hey!
Welcome into the Warchant.com postgame call-in show. Usually this is when we sign on for the first time, but we've been hanging out for a little over 2 hours now right here.
Well, Tom, you had in earlier today at Indigo. You've been going straight.
It's been a long day, but it's been a fun day. We've been waiting for the spring game for a long time. It's been a good camp. And as a media member, we're spoiled because it's one of the best policies across college football where we get to see every rep. There were some things that I wish everybody got to see today, Gene, like we did day in, day out in practice. The receivers have had better days than they did in this particular spring game. But Trey Benson was somebody I was excited for the world, the Nole Nation to see, and he showed out in a big way. Couple of defensive stars as well had their moments. So all in all, I'd call this maybe like a B- of a day or a C+ in terms of entertainment value. Certainly the ACC network did not help. But here we are in the Warchant Postgame call-in show for the first time in 2022. And FSU is a better football team than last time we were on the air for this particular show, Gene. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, that's one of the things we can definitely take from this. Look, I don't put a whole lot of stock on units in spring games, especially spring games and spring, but you can see his individual performance. You see, yeah, that player's a lot better. You know, you can see Trey Benson, he can play. Tate Rodemaker, look, there wasn't great stats, but you can look at how he's poised in the pockets, the throws he was making. He's a better quarterback than he was last year. You can see that. You can see some of the plays by the defensive line, the linebackers, they're better. The coverage in the secondary, you can see it's tighter than it's been. You don't see the breakdowns. So you can see on the whole, things are improving, but to say, oh, the defense looks great or the offense looks great, we don't know. They're mixing so many different personnel.
Yes.
It's really hard to make judgments on this. Like we brought up, I don't know if you're tuning in now for the post game, at the end of the in-game watch along we talked about some of the key players, Robert Cooper, Lovett, Verse, a lot of those guys saw a handful of reps. They're going to play a lot more during the game. Some of the shakeups on the offensive line were not what we're going to see this season either. So you take it with a grain of salt, but I did see some individual performances, Tom, that I really liked.
Yeah, and point blank, if you're looking at an FSU game plan week in, week out in the fall, Gene, it's going to include Jordan Travis legs a lot. And today hardly did. Cheers to you. That was a good can pop right there. What is that? Oh, is that?
We're going a little John boat, Intuition. Where
Nice.
Intuition is Jacksonville.
Yep, I do indeed.
They got the John boat at the Seven Hill right now, so it's one of my favorites. Pick that up there.
Seven Hill Tap Room, right underneath the sponsor of ours, Corner Pocket Bar and Grill. And if you're in the spirits mood, ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. You've lived in the state of Florida, you know where the hell the ABC is. You do. It's how you start your day on a game day before you go tailgate or set up in your fan cave, whatever it is. ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. And if you like rare bourbons and scotches, look at this information below. Read this ticker below about becoming an Access member. A lot of reasons to sign up with ABC for an Access membership. They do great things, so we appreciate their support.
And great craft beer selection as well. I do stop by there. I got them in every couple of weeks, and really nice craft beer selection they have. So if you're into that, you can get a great. I do think they have the John boat there.
They do. And if you like craft beer and wine, go to the one on Thomasville Road. That one has been a long-standing mecca for good wine and good craft beer. So thank you to ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. But yeah, I mean, overall, Gina, I'll once again return to the 10,000-foot view. Jordan Travis would be used a lot more on the ground. They clearly know what they have in him there. We all do. So why do you have to try and rep that in a spring game? They didn't do too much of it. He got credit for a 25-yard run that actually shouldn't have counted. But you don't need to, game plan the way you would for, say, LSU, the Sunday, which is the real opener, even though there's a home opener against Duquesne. You don't have to game plan that same way. And the same thing on the defensive line. When you're mixing and matching with guards and sometimes even the centers and guys who don't play together a whole lot, they don't need to be seeing 91-0, who are 23 or 22 and 23 years old and just grown men. They don't need to be seeing those guys right now. And Mike Norvell basically said as much to the fans. Listen, we know what we have. Let's work in a Josh Farmer. Let's work in a Malcolm Ray and see what we can do there. So that's what today was. It was an incomplete picture of who this football team is. There were some ugly moments, though. I'm not trying to hide that. But there were some useful moments, too.
The beginning was scary. When you talk about ugly moments, the beginning was frankly scary. So if you didn't get to see it, they started out with the 2-point conversion drill with each of the 3 scholarship quarterbacks getting a chance up there. And each of the 3 threw a pick. Now, so a poster brought up a good point. Like, interceptions don't mean as much on a 2-pointer because if you get incomplete or an interception, it really doesn't make a whole lot of difference. But still, the fact that they were just bad reads, bad throws right off the bat in all 3 quarterbacks, you're like, what is happening here? Now, they just settled down. Again, I give them about a C+ for the quarterbacks. It was very uninspiring, but it wasn't awful. There were a couple decent passes. It's an extremely windy day in Tallahassee, so it really limited the downfield throwing. So it's okay. I would have liked to have seen a little bit more of the quarterbacks throwing the football, but it was obviously the emphasis was on the running game.
Well, and then also there was the issue of the drops, which is
Yep.
something that we've got to talk about too. Johnny Wilson had a big drop in this game. Jackson West had a bad drop. Cam McDonald had one. I'm not sure that it was legitimately a drop or not, but either way, it ended a drive when Jordan Travis thought they were going to continue and move the chains.
Yeah, it should have been a third down conversion. It might have been a tougher catch. There was some traffic there, but it looked like one he should have caught.
Rodney Hill had a drop as well. Freshman, tough moment, but it was freshman to freshman. That was A.J. Duffy, who I think that's the most time he had all day to throw. It wasn't a perfect throw, but another drop.
Duffy finished 1 out of 8 for 4 yards.
Yeah.
But it was a jailbreak a lot of times when he was back there, and guys just weren't getting open.
Yep. Unfortunately, that was a guy that if you tuned in today to watch A.J. Duffy, you didn't get to see a whole hell of a lot. And if you tuned in today, and this is related to the quarterback discussion, to see if Tate Rodemaker has done enough. Has Tate done enough to quell any transfer portal talk, dipping back into bringing another quarterback on campus? I'd call it, it wasn't by a landslide, but he showed enough of the flashes that we've seen every day in practice. That first pass being an interception was worrisome. I was wondering where the day was going from there, but I thought all in all, Tate bounced back fairly nicely. Fairly.
That's
not,
the thing.
not great, but fairly nicely.
And you've got to take in the context, and I know that this is what the fans see. If you actually were at the game, you probably saw 70% of it if you were watching on ACC Network. But Tate has definitely been markedly better in the spring, much more consistent, day in and day out. It's not just he had one great practice. I mean, he was consistently pretty good throughout the spring. He seemed like a totally different guy that we saw last season. So that's part of the thing. Like, we had this last year, and I'll forget this, because Jordan Travis was much better than McKenzie last year, almost every single practice. In the spring game, it was kind of the opposite, and I think fans didn't, that's what they saw. A lot of people thought McKenzie was a savior, but as the season played out, we saw, Jordan gave you the best chance to win, not McKenzie, obviously. And what I'm saying here is I think Tate has shown enough, and I know we had a couple people on there saying FSU needs to go in the portal and bring another quarterback in. Well, it's easier said than done. Either you're not going to get a guy who's going to come and try to compete for Jordan Travis for the starting job because he's not getting it. You're not getting an elite, experienced quarterback to come in here anyway. So your best hope is you're going to get someone like a Alex Hornibrook.
Right.
If that's even available.
Right.
It really is that player, and Alex Hornibrook, going to come in with no experience, enroll in the summer. He's going to beat out Tate Rodemaker, who's been here for 3 years, who's looked at least decent in practice. I just don't see that happening. I get the fans. They want to get the quarterback in the portal, but I just don't think there's going to be the right fit for somebody who's going to be dramatically better than Tate to come in here. It's just not going to happen.
And Broderick, we're not running from this fact. We called it as we saw it. If you saw if you were with us for the watch along, he did.
That was a bad miss.
You needed a minute ball and a pogo stick to make a catch on that play. Unfortunately, that was not the case. It was just Johnny Wilson, who's really,
but he's
really
made a lot of those. I've seen him hit Johnny Wilson on a lot of those touchdown routes in the spring. So I get it. Every quarterback, Brady misses guys sometimes. That was a bad pass. There's no doubt. But on the whole, if you go to the whole spring, he's been good the whole spring.
Yes, agreed. If you grade it all the same, then fine. And he bounced back enough today in the scrimmage, which it's considered the spring game, but it's a scrimmage with fans in the stands. It was passable enough. The star of the day on offense was no doubt Mr. Trey Benson. Gene, you've been waiting to watch the Benson burner, as I called him during the watch along, and see him in live action. And we got a chance to, and he did not disappoint today.
He's Sean, man, a Benson burner. I love it. I got to get the NIL deal going for Benson burner. He was something, man. I'm the first to admit when that transfer happened, I go, Mike, you needed to get a guy who's more experienced in here because after losing Jay Sean Corbin, I just thought there was a hole at the running back position. And he admittedly, Benson coming off a serious injury. I think he rolled the dice a little bit, but man, for the first time I saw him in spring, I got to look at him. First of all, he's a big dude. He's 215 pounds, I think, 6'1", 215. He's obviously got the top end speed, but what impressed me is his ability to break. I mean, the quick moves. He made a lot of guys. He wasn't just using his speed and using his strength. He made some guys miss. And it just quick feet like that. Somebody made a comparison today. We were talking about it. I said Leonard Fournette, a little bit of kind of the body type and kind of the way he moves and does some stuff. Not that dissimilar. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be as good as Leonard Fournette was.
Sure.
Obviously, he was a beast in college, but kind of the similar attributes that he's got in terms of his size and athleticism. So to me, that was really exciting for a team that Mike Norvell likes. It. All things going to others. He's a run-first coach. And you got a quarterback that threatens teams running the football. And now you got a running back who's a game breaker who can make you miss, and he can take it to the house too. So that's going to really open some things up. That was really exciting to see.
Yeah, I don't care if he's a poor man's Leonard Fournette. We'll take it. That's better than anything we've got because he showed what you're talking about, Gene, is the complete nature of his game. You saw the speed. You saw the ferocity. He does run tough. He can get you the 3 yards if it's 3rd and 2. He can get you over that line, but then also he can break it if you set up the angles like FSU is so adept at creating angles in the perimeter or pulling the guards and tackles and creating a fight somewhere else than directly on the line of scrimmage. The offensive line is still a work in progress, but again, we talked about that. You know, they're mixing players up. They're trying to find mix and matching what their emergency offensive line will look like if somebody gets hurt in the course of a game. They're searching for answers, but I think overall they're going to be at the level of last year or a little bit better, and that's before they dip into the transfer portal. Darius Washington was not available today. And Kayvon and others, if you wanted to describe what Gene Deckerhoff's final call was like, we'd love to hear your description. I wonder if it was littered with emotion or if Gene was the consummate professional and was able to steer it home without getting misty-eyed. But we're all going to miss Gene Deckerhoff as the play-by-play voice for FSU. Would love to hear your feedback there. As you can see at the bottom of the screen, 850-805-5911 is the number to get involved in the postgame call-in show. We've got a couple of people in the queue. And Terry, if you're watching, I know this sometimes happens. Hit refresh. People are starting to pop up now. So we'll go to our first caller in just a moment, Gene. But I got to remind everybody as well, if you're joining the show, you're brand new, we're upwards of 450, 500 people right now. Do us a favor and hit the like button underneath if you're on YouTube. If you hit the like button, we're going to find more FSU fans who are looking for our coverage at warchant.com. Help yourself out by hitting subscribe too, because every time you come back to your YouTube app on your smart TV or your phone, we're going to be right there waiting on you. So be sure to hit the subscribe button. Please do. It all helps us out, and we appreciate you very much. Any other thoughts, Gene, before I open up to our first caller of 2022, or do you want me to just...
No, not much. Just check out warchant.com. We've got some good content on the site already, so you can use multiple screens now. You can go back and forth, but Corey already has his observations up, man, from the spring game. So you got those going right now, and we've got a Austin Cox on. Austin Cox has a story on Gene Deckerhoff. I guess they got an interview with Gene probably before the game talking about his final broadcast being the Garnet Gold. So some good content already on warchant.com, so check that out. And we're going to hopefully have Corey or Ira come in later to give us their thoughts because they got to see the whole game, unlike us, because of ACC Network. But we'll get their input here. But first, this is part of the show, man. This is why we do this. We love to hear from the fans. We want your reaction, so we're going to do it. We've done it by social media with fans, and we're going to do it call-in-wise. So let's go to the callers, Tom.
So I have a note here from the past. He's called in quite a few times here, and it is in St. Augustine. We go now. Rick in St. Augustine. Welcome to the Warchant Postgame Show. Go ahead, Rick.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
We're hanging in there,
Rick.
man. You're the first caller 2022. You have the honors.
God bless, man. I can't believe it. I should win an award. I thought for sure Gator Kirk would be first, but God bless, man. It's an honor.
Go for it. What you got?
Honestly, guys, just want to thank you guys for the content over the past couple of days. It's been awesome. Tom, thank you so much for stepping in for Jeff. I thought you did a great job, man. But I wasn't really able to see the spring game. I was really listening to you guys on YouTube. But would you say that the transfers were playing more or less on second string? Like I said, I wasn't able to see everything, but from the transfer point of view, just wondering if they were only playing the second string more or less. Thank you guys so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate that. Yeah, that's we've seen a lot of the spring. I guess we can talk about that now. Certain guys that we think are going to start have been getting more reps with the twos than the ones, so that's been a little bit. It was hard to tell. There was so much mixing and mashing going on. I mean, it was Micah. I mean, I think he was with the first team some, but he was also with the second team.
Yep. I would list Micah definitely with the first team.
Caden was with the second team.
Yep, he had some reps. He had some reps later with Jordan, but I don't know. I don't want to violate the media policy, even though we saw it today. So today, I'll tell you what we saw today. Definitely, Micah was working with the first team a lot, and that makes sense to me. Caden has been learning the system. He was with the twos, but sometimes with the ones. Johnny Wilson had time with both. I think he's somebody who's coming into the fold, and he'll be at least a red zone weapon, if not, with the ones by the time we get to the fall. Trey Benson has been knocking on the door, and I think he might have just knocked the door over at this point today. The good thing is that he and Trayshawn Ward get along very well. And in the modern day of football, be it in the pros or college ball, you really need more than one featured back, one bell cow, as they used to say. So both of them are going to get some run.
Yeah, and Mike loves running back committees.
He does. Yes.
So it's hard to say a starter, but yeah, I think Trey got plenty of reps with the ones and showed out. And I mean, did Bless Harris get some back and forth?
He was he was first team right tackle to start the game. That's consistent. Also, the fact that Darius Washington was not available today, and he's set to be back in the summer for summer workouts, well ahead of fall camp. But I think at that point, he is definitely your best option at right tackle. That's just a personal observation. They were trying some other guys, really trying to get them up there with the first team. It didn't work. Bless Harris is, and if you think that that's a problem, they should dip into the portal. I'm here for that argument.
That's one of the ones I'm with you, Tom. That's one of the things I don't. I get we have other people on the staff are saying defensive tackle. If I had my first pick, I'd say if you got an offensive tackle who can play, I want there, because I've just seen year after year the lack of depth. One or two guys get hurt, and it goes to crap because you don't have. I think your starting five is fine on the offensive line, but it's inevitable. You always have an injury or two. You better have somebody there to do it. So I would say that would be my number one priority at this point. Now, Tatum Bethune, to be fair, did not play. We've heard he's in a walking boot. He would have been with the first team very likely, and everything we hear, we don't think it's serious. He should hopefully be back soon. But it's unfortunate he wasn't in this game, because I really was looking forward to it. I know Jeff's a big fan of Tatum Bethune, because the linebacking core has been frankly crap for last couple of years, and I think he's going to really solidify that unit there. So he would have been first team, but he's out.
And Jared Verse obviously got time with the ones, but he played sparingly. Dozen snaps, 15, whatever it is.
He got 2 sacks, quarterback hurry, blocked a kick, and then you're out, buddy. We've seen enough.
I didn't even notice the 2 sacks, but I will tell you that that's not crazy. We talked about this today. Corey and I did when we were doing the pregame show from Hotel Indigo. He doesn't just flash in practice, Gene. Like, he goes through dominant sequences of 3 and 4 plays, or 4 out of 5 plays, that even if he might not rack up a TFL or a sack on a given rep, he flushes the quarterback out in a direction that the quarterback doesn't want to go. They got to throw the ball away or whatever it is. Jared Verse has been excellent. In the beginning, first week or so, you could see he was a little bit more mechanical and thinking through the scheme, which is totally understandable. But he has had dominant stretches, consistent dominant stretches. So even though he only played limited action today, it doesn't shock me that he was credited with a couple of tackles for loss, 2 sacks, and obviously a quarterback hurry. That's a dude that's going to be a day one starter for FSU. I don't think that's giving anything away that Mike wouldn't say.
Be crazy. I'll say one thing. Mike Norvell's hit on transfers at a pretty high rate.
Yes.
You're seeing we've seen it now. It looks like almost all the guys that have gotten transfers looks like they're either going to start or they're going to be major contributors. And that's what you want, because you got to fill spots with that transfer portal. There haven't been many whiffs, and that's a good sign of talent evaluations, vetting guys properly, that they're not going to be problems when they come in. So, we'll see if it translates to the fall. But so far, last couple of seasons, man, fantastic job in the transfer portal.
Yep. Yeah. The evaluation in general, all of the early enrollees / newcomers this year. And remember, Gene, back in January, they did a series of maybe 6 days of media availability where they hammered out every single new player on campus. I mean, there is a purpose for every one of them being here, and there is a level of talent that it's raising the floor, and some of those guys might not be playing right away. Like Daniel Lyons, Bishop Thomas, the future is there for them. They might, maybe Daniel Lyons this year for a few snaps a game. Omar Graham had a really good camp for what he was asked to do. I mean, and to play linebacker as a true freshman, you're not gonna. Telvin Smith didn't even play too much linebacker. He played more special teams in his true freshman season on campus at Florida State. But if you go down the line, and I've only named a few, their evaluation this year has been on point. And I asked Michael Langston when he was on today, do you agree? And he said, yes, this is as good, if not maybe in some ways a little bit better than what even Jimbo did back in the day in terms of the evaluation. Because, and here's the difference, Jimbo could go get a better class of player at that time.
Well, you're getting a 5-star. Your odds of hitting are a lot better than getting a 3-star.
Correct. That's the hard part. Mike has to navigate the waters where this has not been an over 500 program in several years. So you've got to find the level of 4-star and the level of sometimes high 3-star that you can actually win a battle for. And then you have to hit after that. You're dealing with a lower pool of player, and they're doing a pretty good job. We'll hit the callers right now to the 513. I'm not sure where that area code is. I do not have caller information, but I know you've been on with us 6 different times. So to the 513 we go. Who are we speaking with?
Hey, Tom and Gene, it's Eric Angel, man.
Oh, it's
Eric.
Okay, what's up, Eric? How's it going?
Oh, man, living the dream.
Well, you're moving to Tallahassee, so I guess you will be living the dream.
Oh, yeah. I got a job with the post office down there when I was back there in January. It just took too long for the background check.
No, I'm glad the backup check came in clean, Eric. What did you think?
Yes, yeah.
What did you think of the show today? Or not the show, but that's been great, of course. But what about the spring game?
show,
Yeah,
oh my God, ACC Network, they definitely ain't getting no Easter candy. I know that. My God.
I will say,
But,
Eric, I was surprised they didn't break in and put lacrosse on at some point.
Right. Trey Benson, man, that dude's a beast. If he's not the starting running back day one against Duquesne, I don't know what the heck's wrong with our program. But defense overall looked good. I mean, I'm just worried about them stopping the run, and that was an issue last year, stopping the run. But overall, I mean, it was a good spring game, I thought. I mean, Rodemaker, he had his moments, but I still think we need a quarterback to be a backup to Jordan Travis. I thought Bryce Young was in the portal, or did he get picked up from Alabama?
I think that was an April Fool's joke. I don't think he really was, but.
Oh, really? That was an April Fool's joke?
I thought so. But no, we're not. Eric, I get it. I just don't think you're going to find a quarterback that's going to come in. There's nobody's going to be as good that's going to want to compete with Jordan Travis because they're probably not beating him out. And then Tate's been in the program for 3 years with Mike Norvell. I don't see a way someone's going to come in. The best you're going to get is a guy like Alex Hornibrook, but is that really going to be better than Tate Rodemaker at this point? So I just don't see that happening. And to your earlier point, I think you're right. There were some gaps in the running game, but keep in mind Fabian Lovett, Cooper, Tatum Bethune didn't play. So all your guys who were your run stuffers in the middle were either not playing or playing very little in this game.
Gator, we're not hearing from you on the phones right now, but there's a comment. So we wanted to make sure that you were represented today because you're Mr. Call-in. So, looking forward to fall practice. I see a lot of people in the comments section, and breaking news, the comments section jumps off cliffs anytime they have any excuse whatsoever to do that. But I think, Eric's tone in the call, and thanks for the call, Pillar.
Thank you, Eric. Good to hear from you. Look forward to seeing you in Tally soon.
I think that's about right. Like, you're not fired up walking out of this spring game. You're like, all right, here we go.
It's not like the Jameis Winston, 2013, where you're like, holy moly, we've got an elite quarterback here.
But there are some things you like. There are some things you didn't like. It was kind of a practice. It fit. I don't feel any different than I do walking to my car, Gene, Tuesdays and Thursdays this spring after practice is over. Like, all right, a little bit here, a little bit there. But the important thing is that some plays were made consistently throughout the day, and that hasn't been happening here a whole lot. There have been more reps won. Now, the one thing that it's alarming today that I can't hide from, can't run from, and I haven't seen it quite like that until today, was the drops. Like high-profile drops in big situations.
Johnny Wilson seems to have won a game or won a practice, right?
Yes.
But it was an epidemic. It was going all over the place in that first half. So that's something they need to clean up.
It's just that there was a string of them across the different, groupings, the ones and the twos. And I mean, there have been drops in 11-on-11 in camp this year. I'm not saying there aren't, but it's just you had so few shots in the passing game. I think the wind had a lot to do with that today, Gene. We were inside at Hotel Indigo, as you mentioned before, because there were gusts of upwards of 40 miles an hour. So it was better to be inside. So I think that affects your downfield passing game, but clearly they wanted to focus on the run, I think, because of that as well. So when you had those few opportunities to make plays by catching the football, the guys just dropped them.
I mean, that's the thing. We know Tate obviously missed Johnny Wilson for a touchdown there. He overthrew him on that one pass. But did Jordan really have a bad – I mean, other than the 2-point – let's say the 2-point conversion drill, because that was a drill. It really wasn't the spring game. Did he have a bad pass? I mean, I just don't – he didn't get picked off in the game. He had a couple okay throws. The downfield wasn't there. Well, that was the win that they just really tried. And he didn't throw the ball that often, had at least 2 drops, I believe.
Yep.
So – I mean, there's people being critical of him. I see him in chat and stuff, but I don't really know what he could have done in this game. It's not like he missed wide open guys or was throwing picks.
Yeah, no doubt.
And they didn't let him run. I mean, he ran one time, which is kind of a freaky thing. He really wasn't running much.
Yeah,
in the game.
It was hauling out there, Kayvon. There's no doubt. And I see that we are being joined stadium side because his observations are already up. Warp speed from Mr.
Wow.
Corey Clark. He is out at Doak, and it looks like there's some.
Corey.
I wonder if we're going to get dinged copyright-wise because of the country music performance. But go ahead, Corey. Your thoughts on that game?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know the guy that's playing, but he's got a lot of people here, man. They love him. I know he has a song called "Buy Me a Boat," and they love him here. Yeah, man. I was listening to you guys, and I'm on that. Like my observations, I wrote about. Like I wanted to see an improvement in the passing game, and it just wasn't there. Now, the wind is a factor, and it was crazy there today. And, look, man, there were 2 big plays taken away because a defensive lineman touched a quarterback on the shoulder as he was throwing with a pinky finger, and they whistle it dead. And Norvell said after the game, when we just talked to him, he said, yeah, Jordan was getting frustrated by the quick whistle because it was a quick whistle at times. Some of those aren't sacks. Like Burst got a sack. Burst had a great rush up the middle, but there was a sack around edge where they whistled it dead where he's running past Jordan Travis being like past him and kind of just gets one finger on it. Come on, man. You're not going to tackle that kid there. And that took away a first down throw that was actually caught. Yeah. And then Routemaker had a 5-yard touchdown to Keyshawn Helton that was taken off the board because they whistled it dead for a sack. So when you factor that in, it's a little bit better. But, yeah, it just wasn't great overall. I'm glad Rodemaker got that touchdown at the end. That was a nice throw. I thought that was probably the best throw of the day by anyone. Not that was a high bar to clear.
We didn't get to see it, Corey.
Yeah, we didn't see it. The ACC network did not cover that play.
Oh, okay.
They didn't cover about 30% was not covered. They did, I think, 50 interviews on the sidelines. We got more interview time than we got game footage.
Yeah. I will fill you in then. He rolled to his right, and rolling to his right, he threw. It was an 11-yard throw, so he threw from about the 15 to Portier, running to his right as well. Led him perfectly, 15 yards in the air, a strike. He wasn't wide open. It was a throw in between a couple of guys. It was a really confident, well-thrown ball. So that was good to see. But otherwise, that wasn't a great start to start with an interception for my man Tate. That was inauspicious after what I talked about all month about wanting him not to melt down in the moment. But he was okay. Like Gene said, Travis was okay. It was just nothing special. And it's not going to be special, gang, right? This is not going to be a special passing attack. It just has to be competent. I don't know that I saw anything today that would say it can't be competent. There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. Norvell said as much. He's like, look, it was an up and down day. I think he said it was hit or miss. He goes, and Jordan was frustrated by the quick whistle, and we did have some drops, which they did. But also, there were a couple guys out on the offensive line that were mixing and matching receivers the whole time, and it was just that's not what it's going to look like against Duquesne. Duquesne's in for a world of hurt, gang. Johnny Wilson's going to run wild on those guys.
All right. So how about this, Corey? You've seen a ton. Did you go to every practice or maybe all? But
yeah, all of them. I think I went to all of them, yeah.
You have the perfect attendance mark at practice this spring. If you had to rate today's game against the other practices, it's a below average day. That's the way I felt initially. But what do you think?
You talking about offense, just the passing game or anything?
Yeah, anything. The energy of it, the offense, whatever, as you saw it.
Yeah, I would say it was about an average day, honestly. Like the first team offense did what we thought it would do against the first team defense. Now, they did score later on, but that was going up against second and third teamers. They did what they should do. They moved those guys off the ball and ran the ball well. But, yeah, I wasn't expecting I wish Johnny Wilson hadn't to drop a couple of those passes. The good news is the first one he dropped, it was 3rd and 20 because of a stupid sack. Yep. But he did a great job of positioning his body, posting up the DB with his big frame like he's supposed to do, and he caught it and was going to move inside and probably get 4 or 5 extra yards, and he forgot the ball. That's stuff that can be fixed, right? There is no person that just cannot catch footballs. Like, it's just not – they just can't do it. Like, you can teach him all you want. He's just going to drop. Like, he can work on that and get better. What you can't work on and get better is 6'7". So he's got that already. And the other one he dropped wasn't a great throw, but it's got to be caught. Like, on a crossing route, Jordan can't put that at his knees. He's 6'7". But he did, but still catch it. That's a first down if you make that play. So that was disappointing. The drops, and then just the third down conversions again. They were 4 of 18 on the day, which is the same old with this offense. You hope it gets better. But again, there is the caveat of, well, your defense is the one that you can look at it the way Florida State's defense got off the field 14 of 18 times. Like, there's positive, baby. There's a positive in a spring game, guys. The defense was good on third down because it was going against the Florida State offense.
Corey, what I want to talk about, we thought the story of the day was the one positive was on offense, and that's Trey Benson, which, by the way, your boy Tom stole your thunder here. He is now given the nickname of the Benson burner.
Because I have Trey Magnifique. Or Trey Bien.
I think I like Benson burner, but we'll see.
No, mine is for Benson and Ward. The combination. Trey Sean and Trey. They're going to be Trey Bien or Trey Magnifique. That's their name.
But no, I mean, look, I saw flashes of him in practice. some of the things he did, some making guys miss in the backfield. We know the afterburners. He's got that second level speed and the physicality. Man, he looks special today. I mean, he looked like an SEC Auburn Alabama type running back. Now maybe I'm getting a little ahead of my skis here, but he looked really freaking good today.
I'm glad you mentioned the one in the backfield. I think it was McClellan coming in like unblocked. And look, we know he's fast and big, but to be able to shake a guy like that, not run him over, not run around him, actually shake him with some elusiveness and some agility, that's the stuff we didn't know we had. And he does seem to have a little bit of that. So, yeah, he was definitely the bright spot. He's big and powerful and can run. He falls forward, which is a nice thing to have for a running back. Norvell mentioned him, said he's been he was really good, and he's continuing to get better. He's talking about today. He also said he thinks Toafili's had a great spring. And that Ward is Mr. Consistent. So I think he likes that running back room. I think everybody should. With the way Benson looked, I mean, that was, would you say if Benson projects maybe what you think his ceiling is, and we're not saying he's going to, is he better? Is he a better Corbin? Is he a Corbin equal? Like, what did you lose? If Benson can look like that, what did you lose with Corbin?
Yeah.
You might have a better running back room than you had last year.
He's definitely fat. He's faster. I mean, he's definitely got better top end. He's a breakaway. Corbin's never going to break off a huge run. This guy's got the capability. And what I like when he cut that corner to the sideline, Corey, he will get physical with you too. Yeah. He's going to make you pay for tackling him. So, I mean, I love seeing that. And you're right. I think that was the biggest thing I was impressed by the offense was not just, I mean, Benson was great. But all the guys, Trayshawn had some moments. CJ Campbell even had some moments. Even DJ looked good. I mean, I was like, he's kind of come on the second half of spring practice. Well, that's now we know why Corey Wren said, "Peace out. I'm never going to see the field with these guys."
Yeah, I think the running back is probably obviously right now is the strength of the skill positions on offense. I will say this though when it comes to receiver, and Ja'Kai had a drop that they still called interference on a deep throw. But you got to make that catch, man. And I don't know how much those deep balls were affected by the wind because I wasn't down on the field. But I could see the wind. I could see the flags whipping. It was windy here. I don't know how much that mattered when it came to throwing a 40-yard deep pass. But none of those were great throws. But Ja'Kai, I thought, dropped one. But I wanted to say Pittman again. Mm-hmm. I bring it up in the observations I wrote. That run he had for the touchdown. That's not a touchdown. That was not designed well. There were 2-3 dudes over there. He got the ball, cut inside, and then just bullied into 3 guys to get in the end zone. There is something about that mindset in that, Norvell brought it up too. He said, look, every time he has the ball in his hands, he's going forward. Every time. He pushes people forward. And he's physical, and he's competitive, and he wants to be in the end zone. And I know that's a dumb thing to say. They all do. But what are you going to do about it? He gets himself in the end zone, man. He makes those types of plays, which you hope other guys can build up. Other guys will feed off, but he's got that different kind of mindset, man. Where he's near the end zone, he's getting in the end zone. We've seen it all spring, and then he did it. I'm glad he did it today because otherwise, people would have thought we're the biggest liars in the world. All the stuff we had said all spring, none of it was coming to fruition. But then Pittman's competitiveness and physicality did on that play.
Yeah, that touchdown play, Corey, is it's a really good play for a couple of reasons because CJ Campbell is the only other guy on the field over there, and he leads the way. There are 3 dudes, you're right, but CJ Campbell, drives one of his guys, the defenders, back into the end zone. That's a winning play that overcomes a deficiency of scheme, and you need players to be able to do that. It's, as you said a lot of times, it's not illegal for a player to go make a play when something's dead. Dalvin did it all the time, so with Trey Benson there, that obviously he's had a lot of big plays so far in camp, and then today he got to show out. On defense, I mean, Jared Verse was in there for like 5 minutes. Lovett and Cooper probably 1 minute in the grand scheme of things. Did anybody jump out to you over there specifically?
No, not really. I think Diggs ended up leading them with 6 tackles, but I don't put a lot of stock into that. I just look, man. I know everybody wants the passing game to be better and the offense better overall, and I just wrote a story about it. It has to be. That's the issue. It has to get better. It can't be what it was last year. It can't be 4 of 18 on third downs and completing 50% of passes for less than 200 yards. But one of the takeaways of today, man, is I do think this defense is legit. Not legitimate top 10, but legitimate top 30. That's a big step up. Think about where this defense was 2 years ago. It was the worst thing these eyes have ever seen. I mean, it wasn't close, Gene. It's the worst college defense I've ever covered, even seen. And for this defense now to be not just average or competent, but it might be good. Not great, not top 5, not Georgia 2021, but it could be a good defense. And I think, to me, the biggest takeaway of the entire spring is that, okay, this defense is probably going to be better than I thought. And they didn't have Bethune today.
Yeah,
he was out with a walking boot, so they didn't have one of their best players, and Jamie Robinson barely played.
Yeah.
So imagine that defense that was pretty controlling when it has its best players available. I think it could be a good unit, man. I think it could be good on all 3 levels.
And you're talking about
on all 3 levels.
You're talking about 5 of the best players on defense. So we saw Lovett and Cooper barely play, Verse barely play. You mentioned Tatum Bethune and Jamie Robinson. I mean, those are your stars on defense, and they, Tatum didn't play at all. And the other guys just a handful of reps. And a couple people were complaining, those holes they were able to run against the defense. Well, your top defensive players were not out there, so take that with a grain of salt. So I think you're right, Corey. The defense has definitely made strides. But as you wrote, you can read on warchant.com, that offense needs to at least be average. They need to score at least a touchdown a game to take advantage of that. Doesn't matter how good your defense is. If you're scoring 26 points a game, you're not going to win many.
And it was I felt bad for John. Well, not too bad. I'm sure he's got some NIL money. He's a football player at Florida State, so I don't feel too bad for Johnny Wilson. But he has had some really nice moments this spring. Now, the drops have been, they've been there. It's not like that's new that he dropped, but he is going to be a difference maker. I promise you. It didn't look like it today, but he is going to be guy on 3rd down and in the red zone. Like, he got open on that throw that Rodemaker missed him on.
Yeah,
now,
he missed
would
him.
he have caught it? Who knows? But he was there. He was open. And I just think that guy, don't give up on a kid that he's going to have some shaking my head moments. He's going to make you cuss a couple of times this year. Undoubtedly, it's going to happen. But he is also going to make some plays that maybe change games. And so don't give up on that kid. He's got a lot of ability. They don't make him like that. And he has proven he is a good player, today notwithstanding.
So, Corey, what was the attendance like? From Hotel Indigo, it didn't look like there was many people as we thought maybe going out there. What did you
They
see
announced
from the
it.
press box?
They came in right before I came in here to announce it, and I think they had it right at 30 or 31. And look, that might sound like they bumped it up. Not much, man.
Really? Okay.
Not much.
Right.
Maybe not, because you got to remember the University Club, Champions Club, and I think there was probably 25,000 people, 26, 28, somewhere in the stadium. So it was close to 30. Yeah,
that's not bad. I thought maybe they wouldn't hit 20, so that's pretty good. I thought the wind might scare people away.
I'm going to guess they still got 8,000 here, 8 or 9,000 for old Trace McGritty or whoever this guy is that's playing. I mean, he's got him packed down there.
Trace McGritty, the World Tour.
Yeah. I mean, what's sad is I think this guy's kind of a big deal. I do not know his name.
Well,
don't feel bad, Corey. I don't either. I have no idea who he is.
That's your new nickname right there, Corey. Trace McGritty. So, last thing from me, and I know you got the Warchant Rap to do. It is about the Warchant Rap, which you can find right here on Warchant TV as well. That'll post it in a little bit. Is somebody wearing the tack glasses? Because Ira cooled off on his proclamation that he was going to wear the ACC Network tack glasses.
What? So he says he talks a big game because that's what Ira does. But when it comes to it, he's never going to look the fool, man. It's all right if I put on the do-rag or if I dump something on my face like I'm on Nickelodeon. But he doesn't care. He's not doing that. He's got to stay, above board. So if he doesn't wear them, I'll wear them for sure.
Nice. He's got them.
Cool.
He's got them.
Oh, he's got them. Okay, good.
We got to do some promos for the ACC Network. I mean,
yeah,
they need the help.
Sounds like they knocked it out of the park today.
Corey,
it was something special, Corey. Literally, they're taking a snap. They go to commercial. I mean, it's like they did it 2 or 3 times in the middle of the series. They just left to go to commercials. And then when they come back, you're like, oh, they're back. And they go to the sidelines. And now, a couple times they figured out to have the interview in the box on the corner, but most of the time, no, the plays were going on. You didn't even know what was happening.
Yeah, you don't care. Nobody tuning in really wants to watch football, right? They want to watch sideline interviews.
Yeah, if you DVR'd it, don't bother. That's the best thing I can tell you. It's you'll see maybe 40 plays out of
great.
So, Corey Clark, the intrepid lead writer, senior writer, warchant.com. Thanks, man, for the report from Stadium Side. We look forward to reading your stuff on warchant.com and seeing the rap on Warchant TV.
I love you, Tom.
See you, Corey.
See you, Gene.
Thanks, buddy. Remove him. There he goes.
From the press box.
Back to the left. Yeah, live on site. And you could hear some of the organ. It sounded like they were getting after it with the country organ there in the background, Gene. So there you go. Yeah, Trace McGritty, number 1. What a good name. Good job, Corey. So, Gene, I got to tell you, I think people, they're not fed up or angry or anything, but nobody really has anything to say. Phone lines are open. They are empty right now. So we had a call from St. Augustine. We had Eric Angel. But Terry right now is sitting. He wants to talk to somebody.
Wow, we got a lot of people watching, man. We got
We do.
500. We got over 500 sometimes. A lot of people watching live on the show, but
If you got,
it is kind of a ho hum. Like, it was okay. There's not a lot of, other than Trey Benson balling out. There's just not a whole lot of storylines.
So this is interesting. Richard says that just did not see much from this team. I could see where you're coming from. Clearly, you're thinking offensively speaking, Richard. But if you're thinking about the defense, you saw a little bit more. I mean, again, Sam McCall in his first rep as a Nole in the stands with fans on the field with fans in the stands, picks off a pass. I mean, and it's a good read on a play. He's reading the angle route. He gets downhill. He makes a play. Kevin Noles does the same thing. I saw a comment from somebody earlier. Gene, you put it up when I think Corey had just joined for the interview. But he said the defense looked like they knew exactly what was happening, and they knew where to be, when to be. It's a yin and a yang in a spring game. It's a yin and a yang in fall camp. That's the hard part, because every time you have a negative about somebody, there's also inherently a positive on the other side. The defense looked well coordinated, well put together today, start to finish.
Yeah, the other thing I want to comment on that, when you're talking about spring, you got to realize there's a lot going on in terms of what they're going to show. First of all, they see the plays over and over in practice. So the defense kind of has a leg up on things there. Also, the offense is not going to show anything. It's not like Mike Norvell and Alex Hawkins are going to put in a lot of packages. We're going to do misdirection and try to get – they're not – anything that they think might be successful in a game, which they might even see it in the next game. You might have to wait till LSU to they really put that stuff out there. They're not going to show it. So you got to keep that in mind. They're very vanilla. So not a lot's happening there either.
So we'll give it a 5-minute warning for callers here, a 5-minute warning. If you want to get into the queue, you have 5 minutes to get into the queue, and we will make sure we take your call right here on the Warchant Postgame Show. And we do have somebody who stepped up from the 352. I do not have your name, ma'am or sir. You last called us on September 18th of last year. I can see that information. So who are we speaking with in the 352? Welcome to the Warchant Postgame Show.
Tom from Ocala.
Tom from Ocala.
Hey,
What's
Tom.
going on? I love the name. What's going on? Tell us your thoughts on today's proceedings.
Oh, do y'all think we can get a transfer quarterback? And a two-part question. And how much is it the former president to blame for signing a long-term deal with the ACC?
You know what was interesting there, and Gene, I'll let you tee off on this one. Thank you, Tom from Ocala.
Yep.
When you started saying how much is the former president to blame,
Yes, I thought, oh no, we're going political. I thought he was
oh
going
my God, I should put on my tack glasses. Here we go. But Gene, which order would you like? How much is the former president to blame with the ACC? I guess he's talking Thrasher. I mean, it's more an
Well, Thrasher did, Eric Barron was at the time. But anyway, let's start with the first one. It's pretty easy. We've addressed it a couple times.
Yep.
Look, if there's a perfect fit quarterback out there that can come in, I'm okay with it. But I think the odds that somebody's going to come in that's legitimately going to be as good as Travis and much better than Tate Rodemaker without knowing the system and coming in, it's not even like an early enrollee. They're going to come in the summer at this point. I think it's a really long shot. You're going to get that. Plus, you got to keep in mind that right now they're over 85. There's going to be attrition.
Yep.
They will be under that 85, but it might be 2, maybe 3 at the most. And then you get to think, are we going to get a guy that most likely is not going to be any better than Tate Rodemaker, who's been with the system for 3 years?
Yep.
Or do you want to get somebody you're going to really need, an offensive tackle, who knows, a defensive lineman? And you're more apt to get a guy at one of those positions that can come in and contribute than you're going to get a quarterback that could seriously help you this year, in my opinion. So I don't think a transfer quarterback is the way to go, unless somebody falls in your lap. If they do, sure, you take them.
Right. Yeah, listen, you got bigger fish to fry here. You need more help on the offensive line than you do in the quarterback room, period. You need more help, I think, at linebacker than you need in the quarterback room, period. Because
what if Tatum Bethune was out? But I mean, he's going to be back fine. But what if he isn't? Right. What if he hurts himself in the spring? He hurts the ankle or something, and then what do you do?
If you have a silver bullet quarterback that really, I mean, who exists out there that could be somebody who's like a grad transfer? He's only here 1 year, because you don't want him competing with AJ Duffy.
You got Duffy, you got Parsons coming in. That you don't want to mess that up.
Right, exactly. So you need to find this perfect quarterback who's just good enough to be better than Tate Rodemaker and who can learn the offense in the summer and the fall camp, but only be here long enough to only threaten for a job right now. Who is that guy?
I mean, he doesn't exist.
Name that player. And even if they did show up, you have a bigger need on the offensive line. You've got a bigger need at linebacker. You might have a bigger need at wide receiver. So stop. Stop. If
Yeah,
there
if you
was
get an elite wide receiver, I would take that before. If they're Alex Hornibrook, again, I'm using that example because that's the kind of guy I think you would get. You could realistically get. I would take a guy who's an elite wide. I'd take another Micah Pittman or somebody if he's out there over a Hornibrook at this point, and that's what we're talking about. You're more likely to get an elite wide receiver than a quarterback that's dramatically better than Tate Rodemaker. That's going to be a clear number 2 this season.
Yeah, the backups on the offensive line are worse relative to the position group than the backups at quarterback.
That's a great way to put it, Tom. Yeah,
that's the way it is. And
the other one, I know we can. This probably isn't the show to go into details about the ACC and the history of what's gone on there. And I could sit here and talk for an hour about all the things that happened. But yeah, originally it was Barron, the former president, he lobbied the board of trustees at the time to sign off on the ACC, and he did it behind closed doors to circumvent the state sunshine laws. And it was kind of a scam in the middle of the night. I think it was wrong the way they did it. He did it and sign the grant of rights, and then making matters worse. And I put this on John Thrasher too, to sign the extension. Yeah. And you really didn't get a whole lot out of it. I'm just, again, when you're doing any negotiation, you're doing a big deal, you have to get something solid. I don't really know what Florida State gained out of this, or was only downside. We're seeing the downside. And I know I've talked to people inside the administration at the time, and they were always convinced the ACC network was going to be a gold mine. I don't know what they were looking at to see that. It didn't make sense to me because they would remember the thing, Tom, they'd say it's the largest geographic footprint. It's got the most population. Nobody in Boston or New York cares about football. I don't care how much population there is up there. Just go up there and spend a fall up there and see how many people are talking about Boston College. They don't.
Well, and they also were projecting that there wouldn't be a thing like cord cutting, right, when it comes to television networks. And that's happened across the board. So even ESPN is bleeding money, hemorrhaging money left and right, because a lot of people are done with the cable and satellite companies. So you've got a national issue. You've got a Northeastern regional issue. It was a mess. I was hoping, Gene, with old consumer habits, that they would have forced it on those networks up there in the Northeast. So, you're still paying that RSN fee for the ACC network.
Yeah. 10 years ago,
It was
and they waited. And remember, that was Swafford, too. It's like, I want to see how the SEC one plays out. Well, great. So they cashed in for several years when the getting was good. And by the time you got in, it was over. And then the other thing, too, was amazing me. And I spoke to people in the athletic department at the time, and they were 100% that Notre Dame was coming in to the ACC. That was part of their decision making. Like, so ACC Network, Notre Dame, none of this was put in writing, and you're basing all this on John Swafford giving you his word that all this stuff was going to happen, and you're basing literally hundreds of millions of dollars on this.
Right.
It was very poor leadership at the time. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Those people are not here. Board of trustees is different president, different athletic director, different head of boosters. It's all changed. But those people back there, in hindsight, man, history is not good to them. They screwed up.
Salary is not the reason that Mark Krikorian left at soccer, but it is the reason that CY is now in Missouri and not in Tallahassee. If they wanted to retain him, if they had SEC money or whatever, I don't know what the other option was. So you always have to argue that if they could have found a way to lobby to a different conference, but that's what happens. This is what happens. Missouri threw 2.5, 3 times the salary at CY to come play or work with Dennis Gates, and that's how your basketball program gets gutted. And that's the thing. It's got to trickle down from the football program, and that's where we are currently right now. And sadly, it all started back on a day in 2011 or 2012 with that.
But Tom, in the future, the other Tom who called in, we'll have another show. We'll be on there. We can go into a lot more depth. And literally, it could take. I mean, I've talked to Ira about doing a several multi-part story breaking down everything that happened from the beginning, really going back to TK and some of the stuff that happened there and going all the way up to now, like how this is all played out. There's so many different layers. What's going on with the athletic department, the board of trustees, the different ACC commissioners, and there's a lot of layers to it. But yeah, there's some people. The bottom line is some of the prior leadership screwed up royally.
No doubt. Well, all right, we got 3 callers in the queue. We're going to hit each one of them before we sign off tonight on the Warchant Postgame Show, which is presented by our friends at ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. Hit them up. Most of them are open across the state still. It's only 8 o'clock, so let's go. To the 850. I am not sure entirely who we're speaking with, but the 850, go ahead, caller. You just heard the bell. Who are you? And welcome to the Postgame Show.
Hey, it's Marcus right here in Tallahassee.
Marcus, how's it going?
Hey, Marcus?
I'm great, my friends. So I just got back from the spring game or whatever, and I had fun, but I just want to say, I guess my thoughts on it or whatever. It was just kind of weird because so much of our offense stems from like either a RPO or design quarterback runs, and with them not allowed to like contact the quarterback, and then you factor in the win factor, so there's no deep balls. I just kind of felt like it was a little bit anticlimactic.
Yeah, no, agreed. I think again, if we were Marcus, and thank you for the call, if we were commenting on this particular day and giving it a grade, I think I said earlier C+, B-. I mean, there wasn't a whole lot to write home about offensively when you were talking about the passing game specifically. It was a little bit disjointed, and they're not going to run the RPO game against the defense when Jordan Travis is, in a non-contact situation. They know they're good at that. So you got to try to do some other stuff. But any new thoughts there, Gene, or was it, do you think, kind of a ho-hum or meh kind of day on offense?
Yeah, I think we've been, if they could have completed one or two of those downfield passes again, whether that was the win, whatever the deal was, I think you're right. It does make it, you're kind of like, it's just like there's nothing too exciting about it. I think that we'd have a different attitude going into it at this point. But Marcus makes some good points. I mean, some of the stuff that they do well, they're not really going to feature in the spring game. And I mentioned earlier how vanilla they're going to be as well. So you put all that together, the high wins, it's not surprising it was kind of a very lackluster effort by the offense.
And thank goodness for Trey Benson, though, Gene, because if he didn't flash, then I think we might even be a little bit more angry too. But he saved the day. A couple of sequences where he just took over were a lot of fun to watch. To the 615 we go on the Warchant Postgame call-in show. Somebody is
hello.
Some stuff around in the kitchen. Who are we talking with?
Hi, gentlemen. How's it going?
How's it going? What is there a disagreement in the background? Are you on speaker? What's going on there?
Oh no, I'm just talking to you through Bluetooth, so it might be a little bit rough here.
Oh well, that's me. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. We got
Turn your
like the old radio. Turn your volume down.
Yeah. Turn that down and then go ahead with your thoughts.
Great job that you guys do.
Thank you.
For a local group, you do a lot better than national. And that's kind of where my question is going to go into, which is, and Gene, this will be, I guess, more of a question for you because of your legal background. Is there kind of an original or kind of a legal agreement that would hinder the ACC network from just matching up the cast with Gene Deckerhoff as opposed to having a crew down there, or like could it have just been matched up, or kind of like, is there like a legal rights agreement?
Yeah.
Learfield that.
Yeah, that's a good question. There's a lot of different legal things that go on with that. So, ACC Network, ESPN, ultimately Disney owns that. That's a different thing now. So IMG, which is now Learfield, which you mentioned, has a direct deal for Seminole Radio Network and all that. Gene Deckerhoff, they are separate entities. I mean, it doesn't mean that they couldn't work out an arrangement where they could do that, which, I think would be a great idea because I think people are getting away. We see the mediocre nature of these broadcasts. Mm-hmm. They're so just lame that I think you could have a separate thing if you could listen to the FSU broadcast versus, and if they're playing Virginia Tech, those people want to hear their broadcast. But they would have to get together and come up with some licensing arrangements to get all that to work. So they can't really do it. They can't run Gene's feed on the ACC network. Now you can get it on satellite. I know people will work out a way they can sync them up. So if you have satellite radio, you can get that, or you can listen. I know online there's some links too to be able to do that. So I mean, that would be my recommendation, to figure out a way to link the two up.
And then caller, go. What was your name?
Yeah,
we didn't catch your name real quick. Just want to give you credit for calling.
Oh, Ryan from Nashville.
Oh, Ryan. Hey, thanks, Ryan. Appreciate the call. What was the follow-up question you had?
Well, I was just going to make the comment that obviously with a legend retiring, probably this would have been the time for them to work that out, but obviously it's too late.
Yeah, it is indeed. Well, we appreciate the call, Ryan. And the thing is, Ryan, what I'll say here too, Gene, is if the cord ever gets completely cut, meaning that everything is just an app, there is no channel anymore on your TV box. I think at that point they will open up those options more, and they'll make those deals.
Well, you see it now with NFL. You see the Manning cast and some other different ways to do that. So I mean, I could see now, like you're right, with an app. So they've got the the FSU feed. You do an app for that. They have the other team feed. If you want the national feed, you can have that too for the average fan.
Yeah, once the cord is cut, I mean, like right now they have to justify that they have a channel on a TV that they're being paid by Comcast or DirecTV or whoever. The moment that doesn't exist anymore, it's like Sirius XM. If you listen to Sirius, they don't care if you move around on the dial. As long as you're on Sirius XM, that's all that matters. So it's almost like a mega cast for every game. I could see that once, cable.
And hopefully they come to Warchant and we can do we'll do the FSU cast for them.
We're always on the cutting edge here. Thanks to that man right there, Gene Williams. Our final caller this evening is a repeat caller, and we like him. He's down in Ocala. His name is Mike. Mike in Ocala, what's going on? Welcome to the Warchant Postgame Call-In Show.
Hey, how we doing? Go Noles, boys.
All right, Mike, bringing the energy to us.
There you go.
Hey, you know what? It's a spring game, but it's still Florida State football, and it feels real good. I appreciate all the coverage you guys have been doing, the whole Warchant staff. It's been great to keep up with you guys and keep up with FSU athletics as a whole. But I've just got a quick question for you all today. Who do you all think was the best non-transfer portal player today, offensively and defensively?
All right. I like that question.
Transfer.
You got to chew on that one for a minute.
Yeah, I got to think about that one there. Yeah, because I'm thinking first thing that comes, I keep thinking of someone like, okay, they're a transfer there. I mean, even Jordan Travis transfer.
I mean,
although he was pre-portal. Go ahead. What you got, Tom?
I said I could take a cop out and say, in theory, it's Cooper or Lovett. But you know,
but yeah, how do you give them that kind of when they got like 6 reps? I mean,
yeah. Okay, how about this one? All right, here's one for you. How about Kentron Poitier, because he had a touchdown catch that we did not see.
That's true. Corey pointed that out, that he had a really nice one. So.
In addition to the back shoulder fade, he's had a nice camp. I mean, I think he's firmly entrenched with Tate. You know, I don't know that he's going to, crash the party and take reps away from, certainly not a Micah Pittman. I wouldn't think Johnny Wilson either. And Pokey seems to be the next man up after that, Winston Wright's injury notwithstanding. But you know what? Kentron's had a nice camp. And I know that answer probably means people go, yeesh, but it was kind of a yeesh day for the returning players. But Kentron had a nice day and clearly had a couple of flash plays, and that's something that's been consistent from camp. So I can't go with a quarterback. They were meh. So I'll take old Kentron. How about you, Jim?
Yeah, I like that. Azarier, I mean, we didn't see much of it, but a couple times they threw his way, man. He's what he's been all spring, because this is almost a spring standout for me. That he's such a freak. And I think, at the end of the day, this may be a good like roundtable thing. Who on this team do you think right now will be the highest draft pick? Whatever year, would AZ be the top? I mean, you say he may not be for 3 years.
Yeah.
But who do you think has the most, like, you look at them physically and where they are and where they could be when they go in the draft, and who do you think has the most physical time to be an elite NFL player? I'd say Azarier.
Yeah, it's either him or Verse, because again, you're looking. Jermaine was here for 1 year. Verse has potentially 3 years to be.
That's true. I keep thinking Verse is a 1 year guy, because you're right. He could. Who knows in a couple of years what he could be? Wow.
If he comes back, and then I'll throw one more name of returning players that played well. Lawrence Toafili had a nice day.
He did.
Lawrence Toafili had a really nice day. He had a touchdown, 9 carries, 43 yards, but he looked explosive. He still isn't. I don't know that he'll ever get there. Especially, it's like the Caden Lyles, Maurice Smith conversation, Gene. When they stand next to each other, like Maurice, it becomes clear that he needs to get larger. When Toafili stands next to Trey Benson, you're like, come on, Lawrence, just put on a little bit.
But you know what? He put his head down. That was my criticism of him last year, is that he just wasn't physical. At times, there's nothing wrong sometimes to get 2-3 yards, put your head down and get it. And he did that a couple times this game. He didn't dance. He pushed his head ahead. He's not the biggest guy out there, but look, when you got momentum, you can push ahead. You can push on a linebacker, defensive back. So I think he was more decisive in his run. So that was a very positive sign.
Yep. Good point. I totally agree. He did show a little bit more toughness today. Gene, final thoughts before I start promoting things for upcoming on Warchant TV and Warchant.com. Final thoughts on today?
No, I think people got to look at the good thing. Look, we got no major injuries. Everybody who was on this team in the spring, outside of Wright, who unfortunately I don't think will be back this season because of the car accident injury he suffered. No injuries. I mean, but it is a big deal, because you seem like you usually lose 1 or 2 guys every spring. You didn't. I think both quarterbacks developed during the spring. They're better than they were a year ago. We saw that the transfers, the biggest take for me of the whole spring is the transfers are hitting. Almost every guy that transferred in is going to be a major contributor, if not a starter. And that's going to make this team better, because you got the bulk of your team back, and you addition that you bring in these transfers. This will be, I think there's little doubt that this will be a better team in 2022. Whether that means 7 wins, 8 wins, I don't know, but I do think they're going to be bowling. We're going to be back in Shreveport or somewhere, Tom, come December.
Yeah, I agree. I think that, I think the dispersion of the wins is 7 to 9. It's going to land somewhere there based upon 2 things: injury luck and turnover luck. Those things you can never control. And if they dip into the portal and
drops.
And drops, oh my God, thanks. Yeah, if they bring in a bona fide offensive lineman who can start as well, then I'm leaning 8-9 rather than 7-8. It's that gap in the offensive.
If they brought in a stud offensive tackle, I'd be like, okay, I'd take the over, whatever it's going to be from Vegas.
Yeah, agreed.
Well, Daniel, thank you very much. And I think Daniel makes a good point. I think if I had to judge the worst group, I mean, Wyatt Rector had a nice catch and run, and our boy Marcuston Marquiston had a
Yep.
really nice block on one of those touchdown
Two of
runs. So, I
them.
mean,
Two of
they
them.
two blocks. So there's some signs of flashing, but considering the number of bodies you have there, you would think someone would stand out a little bit more.
There are certain position groups that you look at and you say, all right, that's starting to shape up and look like what Florida State should look like. Like defensive backs, when you see McCall and Azarie are on the way, and you've got a guy like Amari Cooper and Jamie Robinson, okay, that's starting to look like it should. Tight end is the opposite of that. Daniel, I agree with you. I think tight end is the worst position group. There are some kids who might develop in the offseason, but as it stands right now, if you're not talking about special teams, which is the worst phase on this team by far,
but
yeah, the position.
Sam McDonald can be okay. I mean, he can be a decent, solid tight end. Yep. You got that going for you. But I was hoping some other younger guys, somebody would step up and do something. But, man, they're just so inconsistent. You just don't see anything out of them.
Remember, for the 350 or so of you that are still watching right now on Warchant TV, we really appreciate you taking part in the proceedings and advancing the discussion. If you're yelling at each other too, whatever. That's what the chat is there for. That's what it's there for. We appreciate you doing so. Please throw us a like if you have not done so already. It will help others find us, because once this thing goes on demand, people can then go back and watch the game with us and laugh about the crap that is the ACC Network broadcast. Some of the big plays that were out there too. But if you like it, that we'll find that many more FSU fans. So we really appreciate that. And help yourself out, subscribe, because we're going to have you covered all off season long. There is one more practice on Tuesday before they close spring camp. So Tuesday afternoon, there's another practice. And then we get into the off season and seeing how much this group can be improved through the transfer portal or some other announcements coming out for FSU football. So we got you covered there. And Gene's got one more thing.
Yeah, before you sign off, a couple things. First of all, we got Michael Langston and Austin Cox working feverishly right now. There are somewhere 50-plus recruits on campus. We're going to have updates starting tonight, so please check if you're a Warchant subscriber, the Warchant Premium Board. We have a lot of updates on these kids, and obviously going into tomorrow as these kids leave on their visits. So I would not be surprised. I think Michael Langston's got a recruit or two on the commit watch. So that's something to pay attention to. And final, I'm going to pop one more for you, Tom Lang. The workhorse. Hey, everybody, on your way out, hit that thumb up for Tom Lang. Jeff Cameron sick, had to pull double duty yesterday. 3 straight shows. Pre-game show from the Indigo, in-game game watch-along that we had. A lot of you are still with us. Thank you. And then the post-game show today. Tom Lang, man, you've earned it. Tomorrow, you're not working. Turn your phone off. Watch the Masters. Drink some cold ones. You and Jamie, enjoy your day. You've earned it, buddy. Cheers to you. Great job.
Thanks. At 7:57 a.m., I will be teeing off at Capital City Country Club. So that's
golf. So you're playing in the morning and then watching in the afternoon.
It'll be a good day. Yeah, and Jeff, we send our well wishes. Do you feel better, my brother? I hope things go okay. I know that if you needed some sleep, maybe there were portions of today's ACC network presentation that helped you get the rest you needed. But for Gene Williams, the founder and administrator of Warchant.com, my name is Tom Lang. I'm the director of original content, and I'm going to get a lozenge for my throat. We enjoyed having you out here, everybody, today. Thank you for your support of Warchant.com. We can't wait to talk to you next time right here on Warchant TV. Good night, everybody.
Good night.